Hey demons, it's me, your boy.
Oh,
Welcome to another episode of Multimedia Clubcast.
oh,
You'll have to excuse me, I'm kind of sick at the moment. I have a glass of milk, hopefully that'll help.
that's not gonna help.
No. And and first off, I want to say thank you for indulging us in that last episode. It was pretty weird and the reception was less than positive. But
I didn't hear any of the reception for that one.
rest assured, that was just a little experiment, and we're back to normal now. It's just me and Josh this episode, and we'll probably not do it again unless we can think of a really solid reason to. So, thanks for bearing with us.
It was our Christmas not so special.
Yeah, right. Yeah, interesting time. Anywho, we actually have a lot of movie stuff to talk about today, so as is customary, I want to start off with music, which we have, one big thing to talk about for music. Oh yeah, song of the week. That's how we do it.
Yeah, we completely forgot to think about those beforehand.
I've got a song of the
Son
week.
of a gun. Okay, go ahead. Because I always forget to think about it beforehand.
Okay, my song is I'll just go in detail in describing it. My song is Lamborghini Meltdown by Demon Queen. Really weird track. I really, really like it though. I've been listening to it on repeat for about a week.
Give it a listen.
Check it out. And if you may or may not be familiar with Tobacco, the product and perhaps the artist, he's just like this producer / solo electronic guy, and he does cool stuff with synths, and he has weird vocals. And he did a side project with another guy. I don't remember his name. I didn't look this up beforehand, but he did a side project with another guy called Demon Queen, and they did one album in, I believe, 2013. And Lamborghini Meltdown is by far my favorite track off of that album. And it's a really hit or miss style of music. If you love really... I don't know how to describe the synths. The synths are very heavy, very it's a really it physically affects you. It's like, oh no, the air conditioning. Can you turn that off? It's been a while since we recorded in this house, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But no, I'm blanking on what to say about the synths. You heard the synths in the clip, you know what I'm talking about. They're very heavy, very pounding, very catchy. That's the kind of thing I like. Solid song, weird song, but good song.
Nice.
You have one?
Yeah.
Yes.
My song of the week is Joe Walsh. Life's Been Good to Me So Far. Give it a listen.
All I'm thinking of is that song from Third Rock from the Sun. Is this a different song?
I don't know.
Okay. The song at Third Rock is "Life has been good to me."
I don't think so.
Okay.
This is a song that I've heard forever. My family loves it. Everybody I know loves it except for Colin. Maybe he does.
To be fair, I haven't heard it.
That's true.
So
it's just, a classic, southern rock song.
Oh.
It's good. It's
Okay.
the exact opposite of what Colin was just talking about in his song.
Yeah.
Guitars, drums, bass, the usual. It's good. It's very good.
Yeah.
It's catchy.
Yeah, that's going back to basics about what makes this podcast good. I mean, that's pretty presumptuous to say, but the fact that sometimes we can be completely opposed yet kind of in agreement.
Well, I've never heard your song either.
I've never heard your song, so we'll have to give both of them a listen.
Good.
Give Josh's track a listen.
Yeah,
Did we already do that?
Yep, I already
Okay,
did
give it
that.
a listen again.
Okay. Just keep listening to it. Don't stop.
Yeah, well...
On to the music.
Can you think of a good segue that'll lead us into Jeff Rosenstock's new album?
Have you ever heard Jeff Rosenstock's new album, Colin?
I have, actually.
How about that?
You want to talk about it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's called... That's the only thing we have to talk about music-wise, at least that we can think of. It's called Post. I assume as a reference to, like, post music genres, like post-grunge, post-punk,
It is by far the newest music I've listened to ever.
Yeah. I mean, as Roberto said, it's only it was at the time, it was only 2 days into 2017, and it's already his album of the year.
18.
2018, right? That's the year.
It is. It's new. Happy New Year!
Yeah, it's the
Oh, my
first episode,
goodness.
2018.
Happy New Year,
Boy.
guys.
And he said it's already his album of the year. Not that it has much competition, but I think it's going to remain my album of the year until something better comes out. But that kind of goes without saying, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little.
It's going to be hard to beat, at least for a while. I don't know what's coming over the horizon album-wise, but this is a solid album. Probably my favorite Jeff Rosenstock album.
What about the new Bring Me the Horizon album?
I don't care.
Okay.
Wasn't their last one like a pop album?
I have no clue, but you said Over the Horizon, so I had to.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, we saw Bring Me the Horizon live, didn't we?
I think so.
Yeah. It was that forgettable
Yeah.
that we don't even remember if we for sure saw them or not.
That's right.
Yeah, well,
Then again, neither of us are that big of an into Bring Me the Horizon.
so yeah, that's true. I used to be. I really used to be when I was a kid. I loved Bring Me the Horizon. But now, I'm not only am I not into that kind of music anymore, they're also really bad these days.
Oh,
so.
they did the Feed Me to the Throne.
Sure.
I think.
I don't know.
Isn't that now
they did?
Throne?
Well, like they were the band that they were like really hardcore metalcore back in the day, and now they're doing like pop EDM stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Did they do the Smile song?
Yes, the Smile. They did that
Smile.
one. Yeah.
What?
I do remember that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hear it. Let's spirit tear it. I don't know.
Yeah. So, back to Jeff Rosenstock. You said you had only heard like the first 3 tracks off of this album.
4 tracks minus the first one, which is
the
6
first
seconds of. I don't even know. I didn't replay it, so I don't know what that first track even is.
It's just somebody talking.
Okay.
It's an interesting intro. I'm glad you heard the first track, USA, because that's, after hearing the whole album, that remains probably my favorite track on the album. It's really good. Like, really, really good.
I agree.
It's solid Jeff Rosenstock material. And this album is very, very Jeff Rosenstock with a little bit of, might I say, a little bit of a prog edge to it, which was interesting. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you hear the last song, it's 11 minutes long, and it has like a 5-minute synth outro. And it's like...
Yeah, I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, no, you gotta check it out. Like, the album feels very weird, very... I don't want to say experimental, because it's not very experimental, but in comparison to his older stuff, it's a little more out there.
Yeah,
and
I get you.
It's probably my favorite Jeff Rosenstock album. I have to like give it a few more listens to say for sure, but it's very, very good.
All right.
And it's for free. Like, and nobody knew it was coming out. It was the first day of 2018, which was 2 days ago. he said he just like posted. He's like, oh, by the way, we got a new album out. It's for free. Go check it out on Bandcamp. And it's just this full-length album that nobody knew was coming. It's like...
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Remember,
and it's
we
free.
were just talking about this.
Were we?
Vaguely, yeah. We were talking about how like things should be like I like things that are just dropped
just like
on me.
surprise.
So I
do
just be
remember
like,
that. 'Cause
oh
we
my
were talking
gosh.
about 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah.
Because 10 Cloverfield Lane, nobody saw it coming. Like, it literally, the first trailer dropped, and they're like, it comes out next month.
Yeah, and I love that.
Yeah, right.
Like, if something can be like, yeah, no, this is out, like, right now, and you're just like, whoa, let's do it. You know, I love that.
Yeah, for sure.
So, this is my style of how to drop things.
I mean, no promotion. They just kind of put it out there, and it's super good album. So I can't stress this enough. Go check it out. I will say, go check it out if you're a fan of Jeff Rosenstock's style. And his style is punk. I don't know the genre, but if you hear like one song of his, they all pretty much sound like that. So yeah, if you're a fan of his sound, it's a great album, but it's like probably a pretty divisive sound. I can't see it being like a major crowd pleaser among the entire music scene. There's certainly people who probably don't like it at all.
It feels very indie.
Yeah, right. It's very indie. I mean, although this is, I hear from Roberto that this is their first major label release.
Oh, really?
Which is odd to me because this feels like the most indie release. Like, in quality and in just means of release. Like, they have this big label deal with a major label now. And I forget the label. It's like something vinyl something. And then the way they end a release with this label is they're like, it's free on Bandcamp. Go check it out.
That's true. That is
and they put it on Bandcamp before Spotify. It is on Spotify now, though, so check it out.
That's the thing. You told me it came out, and I looked on Spotify.
Yeah,
I was
right.
Like,
no,
what are you talking about?
It wasn't initially on Spotify, but it's on Bandcamp.
But yeah,
but now it's on both. So
yeah. So check it.
Yeah.
Anything else for music for you?
Not really. Actually, yes, I do have quite a bit to talk about.
All right, let's do it.
I went to a concert just last week.
Oh, right. Colin Firth.
Yes, Colin Firth. Yeah.
You saw him live, right?
No. There's a band called the Shackletons. They're kind of gaining popularity in the area as of late, in the Minnesota music scene. There's a big radio station here called The Current, and they just did like a top 80 local tracks list where people could vote, and the most votes gets higher on the list. And Shackleton's new single called Minnesota Girls got number 3 on the list. So it's pretty neat. And I've met the vocalist of the Shackletons. We're friends on Facebook, and he's a pretty cool guy. His name's also Colin, so it gets confusing in conversations, but very good band. And what I didn't expect when I went to see that band was to see 2 very good opening bands, almost better than the Shackletons themselves. And I just wanted to shout them out. The first band was a group called Sleeping Jesus.
Gotcha.
Odd name, but they're very very chill. They got a synth, they got bassists, they got 2 guitarists and a drummer, but they're very laid back, chill. They kind of reminded me of like Dispatch. Their bassist is literally me in 10 years. Like, everything about their bassist. He had a white Fender bass, which I used in Big Men's because it was Abe's bass. He had a long beard, the same color as mine, and long hair, the same color as mine. He wasn't as fat as me, but then again, I plan on losing weight in the next 10 years, so we'll see. And his style was identical to mine. Like, I was watching what he was doing, and I was like, I do that same stuff when I perform. Like, he does that whole, like, it's grounded in like a lower octave, but like for like flair, he jumps up to the high octave for little flavorings. Like, I do that too.
Please tell me he had a red beanie.
No, that was the only thing he was missing. I don't think he had a hat at all. But who knows? Maybe I'll outgrow the hat. So I literally found myself in 10 years. And bassist of Sleeping Jesus. And very, very good band. They are on Spotify. Very chill. Great mood music. Check them out. The second one was, what are they called? Porno Wolves. And they're very kind of like classic rock meets modern hard rock. And I will say, check them out also on Spotify, but they're way better live than they are on Spotify. On Spotify, they don't have a lot of edge to them. They're not very exciting on Spotify, but live, they put on a great show. So see them live if you can. Yeah, they're also pretty cool. Kind of young guys doing hard-hitting rock music, rock and roll. And very fun show, but not as fun as the Shackletons, who came on after, and they put on an amazing show, longest set of the night, but that's because it was their EP release show. They were the headliners, and seriously, the Shackletons are a lot of fun live, especially if you want to just mosh. to like happy mosh. I've always talked about there's two kinds of mosh. There's the like metal mosh where it's like a big fight, and then there's the happy mosh where it's like pretty happy music and people are just like bouncing around and bouncing off each other. That kind of mosh, that's fun. I was constantly on the outskirts of the pit because I didn't really feel like jumping in, but it's a good time. And they ended their show with they went off stage, of course, after playing. Oh, they played Minnesota Girls second to last. I forget what their last song was, but after playing that last song, they went off stage, and everybody was cheering for an encore, of course. And then the curtain on this, and it was at the 7th Street entry, which is attached to First Avenue, if you know it. And there's like this curtain that they go past, and then the curtain opened back up, and we're like, oh, they're coming back out. And this man in a kilt and a traditional Scottish top, carrying a bagpipe, which was glowing, an electric glowing, like LED ridden bagpipe, came out and just started playing his bagpipe very loudly. And then the band came back out and started playing with him. So that was the most interesting encore I've ever seen. Just like this bagpipe guy just came out in full traditional Scottish getup. That was very fun. At the end, they said that apparently that was the first time a bagpipe had ever been played at 7th Street Entry, and it's like, wow, cool.
I really wish that the band hadn't come out.
Yeah, no, it's just the bagpipe guy. Yeah.
And he just like finish off the show with like an hour-long bagpipe solo and then just leaves.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that would have been very funny. But yeah, no, it was super crazy. Good show. Good bands. Check them out on iTunes. Their new EP just dropped, featuring Minnesota Girls, which is a very good song.
Featuring Minnesota Girls?
Yes.
Which ones?
All of them.
All of them?
Yeah,
wow.
All of them on that one EP.
Did they also play in the movie Killing of Sacred Deer?
Yes, they did.
Colin Firth?
Yeah. That's Colin Farrell, but
it's too close. Everything's too close.
No, Colin Firth is the guy from Kingsman, right? Am I getting that wrong?
I don't care.
Come on. Yeah,
everybody named Colin except for you is Colin Firth.
It's true. Yeah, no, Colin Firth was that guy from Kingsman.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
He was in Bruges, right?
No, that was Colin Farrell. Seriously, that was Colin Farrell. It was not Colin Firth. Yeah. Nice. I don't know how you got here from the Shackletons, but...
well, the guy's name was Colin Firth.
No, Colin Campbell. I'm done.
You want to go to movies?
Yeah, let's go to movies.
Have you seen anything with Colin Firth lately?
Lately, no, but last month we almost watched The King's Speech, which stars Colin Firth. I think I'm just going to go watch it myself. The reason I suggested it is I've never seen it, so I'd like to see it. Oh, just because I don't think we've ever mentioned it on the podcast ever. I think this is a topic we've never covered before. I would just like to point out that the Phantom Thread is coming out this month. So I just wanted to remind everybody that the Phantom Thread's coming out soon. And I will be rewatching There Will Be Blood before I see it. I'll probably see Boogie Nights. What?
Colin. You don't understand. I was excited to hear something new.
No.
You're like, oh my gosh, here's something we've never talked about. I'm like, oh my god, what haven't we talked about?
Phantom Thread.
I hate you.
I think we've talked about Phantom Thread in several episodes.
Since like the 3rd episode.
Yeah. And it's finally coming out, which means we can stop talking about it. Or talk about it more, because what if it turns out to be really good? You know, who knows? But reviews are in for it. They're very positive. I'm trying to not read a lot of them because I don't want to hype myself up, because you have no idea how much I've anticipated this movie. There Will Be Blood is literally my favorite movie. And this is such an amazing project, and I'm just happy to be alive when it's happening.
It's been about 14 weeks since you said that for the first time on the podcast.
Yeah. I'm very excited for it, but that's a little side thing.
Me too.
Ooh, we should talk about movie of the week. Do you have one of those? Do you want me to go first again?
I actually do have one of those.
Okay.
But it's going to relate to a topic I want to talk about a little bit more. So
All
go
right,
ahead.
so I'll go first. Okay, cool. My movie of the week is Nebraska. And that was on your list, so we're getting that out of the way first. Seriously, if you haven't seen or even heard of Nebraska, which is completely understandable, like not everybody has seen Nebraska. A lot of the people watching this have, because we just showed it in Movie Club. That's what reminded me of it. Seriously, it's an incredible movie. Like, honestly, I gave it 9 stars on my second watch, and that's because Will Forte is the main character, and I'm not a big fan of his. Like, that always takes me out of the moment every time he speaks. But if you look at it in a big picture sense, that didn't bother me that much. After a while, you get used to it. And the movie is amazing. And I have to say, if you don't like slow, contemplative dramas, this is the slowest, most contemplated drama I have ever seen. Like, no joke, this movie is so dry. And I loved every second of it. Like, honestly, it's about,
Was that supposed to be a metaphor for how dry Nebraska is?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure.
It actually takes place in, the characters are all from Montana. And they're trying, and it's sort of like a road trip movie, but not quite. Basically, Will Forte's father, played by Bruce Dern, and Bruce Dern is amazing in this movie. Can I just say, it is like the best like old man character I have ever seen in a movie. I can't think of a better portrayal, honestly. It's like, he's perfect in every sense. But, ooh, that was a loud butt, wasn't it? Did that peak on the? Let's not get distracted.
I'm not.
Sorry, I'm very manic today. I'm very off the walls. I apologize. It's probably because I started playing Minecraft again that gets me all giddy.
Great. That's saving for a video game section.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. No, seriously, I'm probably rambling, but the point about Nebraska is it's about his father gets like a note in the mail, like those like bogus like sweepstakes things you get from magazine subscriptions. It's like, you've won $1 million. Come to our headquarters in Nebraska to collect your earnings. And his father, being kind of senile, kind of he and the idea is his father's kind of getting senile a little bit, and his father is the kind of person that he just believes things that people tell him. He's very easygoing, and he puts his trust in other people. And the father believes that he has won this $1 million, and he needs to get to Nebraska to collect his earnings. And Will Forte, he knows the whole thing's made like bogus. Everybody knows the whole thing's bogus, but like they visit his old hometown, and he becomes like this celebrity because he's won this money, and everybody starts trying to take advantage of him. But anyway, I don't want to get too far into spoilers. Basically, it sounds like I'm setting up a comedy, but it's and it has funny moments. It's actually it's almost a comedy drama, but for the most part, it's a drama. And I don't want to give away too much, but by the end of it, I was legitimately tearing up because I think it hits really close to home with me, a lot of things in the movie. And seriously, it's an excellently crafted movie. It's if you live in a small Midwestern town, you will love the atmosphere of it because it's very, very familiar to people like us, Seriously, I cannot praise this movie enough. It's excellent. Go see it. Like, seriously. I don't want to give away. All right, your turn.
My movie of the week is The Road to El Dorado.
Okay. Is that the animated one?
It is.
Cool. I haven't seen that since I was a kid.
I know.
Remember a lot about it.
I watched it yesterday, 2 days ago. 2 days ago.
All right.
And I forgot how much I love that movie. It's so good.
Yeah.
Like I understand it's a kid's movie. It's such a good movie.
There's certain kids' movies that are very good, like Nosferatu. That's not a kid's movie. I meant Hunchback of Notre Dame.
What? Okay.
I can't think today. I'm sorry.
Nosferatu, the famous kid movie.
Yeah.
Disney,
Yeah.
Blah. But yeah, no, The Road to El Dorado, it's a great time. You have the horse, you have the two guys, and then you have the native girl. And it was very, very fun to go back and just watch all the little montages they have in there. Them getting to El Dorado, them dancing in El Dorado, them doing the things with El Dorado.
Like, let's get down to business to defeat the Huns.
Yeah, like that. And then...
That's a different movie, isn't it?
Do you remember...
No, I don't.
No, it's not. Trust me. Do you remember the giant jaguar robot thing with the glowy eyes?
No.
By chance?
I don't.
No? Oh my god. Scariest part of the movie when I was a kid.
I remember El Dorado. There are two movies that I remember being like really scary to me as a kid, and it's El Dorado and Treasure Planet. Treasure Planet especially. Seriously, that movie's terrifying. El Dorado I remember being kind of scary about. I remember what being scary about it. Maybe it's that.
There was this shaman dude, and he's by far the creepiest, slimiest mother of all.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a good movie. Check it out.
Yeah.
It's real fun. There's lots of gold. That's kind of the whole thing.
Again, we're kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum. I really like that. I've got a drama, and you've got Road to El Dorado. Like, equally entertaining types of movies, but it's, like, very opposite. I like that.
Yeah. Well, it started out, I was just like, I haven't seen The Road to El Dorado in ages. And then somebody was like, oh, I have that. That's, like, my favorite. It's right here. And I'm like, cool. Really? And they're like, you want to watch it? Sure. Cool. So we did. It was great. I had a great time. It was good.
Yeah. All right.
You want to just kick it off with our A24 ketchup?
Do you want to do that first? Ketchup?
Yeah, let's do
mustard?
Relish?
Mayonnaise?
Oh.
Ooh. Miracle Whip?
Are we talking hamburgers or hot dogs?
Oh, quick question in our food podcast. Do you prefer... On hamburgers, do you prefer mayonnaise or ketchup?
I like both.
Well, which is better? If you had to choose.
If I had to pick, I would do mayonnaise.
Good, because that's the correct answer. Not a lot of people know this. Not a lot of people know this. That's what you're supposed to put on hamburgers. Anybody who tells you ketchup is wrong.
What? I don't agree with everything Colin says on this podcast. This is one of those times. What?
Come on. You know I'm right.
I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
But everyone else isn't wrong.
No, everyone else is wrong. Look, if you don't like mayonnaise on your burger, you are not allowed to eat burgers. Every time I go to Five Guys, I get mayonnaise. I don't get ketchup.
What?
Listen, while we're on food rants, okay? I was talking about this with the other guys.
No. Who's the other guys?
The movie club people.
Okay.
Actually, specifically just Zach, I believe. Zach and Roberto, maybe. Because us three are on Video Club all the time. Okay. So, what's your opinion on McDonald's French fries?
I don't.
Okay.
Anymore.
Worst French fries ever? McDonald's French fries? Yes.
They weren't. Remember when they cooked them in animal oil?
Right.
That was good.
I'm talking current McDonald's French fries.
Sure, they're trash.
They are my least favorite. Right, okay, so you agree with me.
Sure.
Everybody else I've talked to, I think Sadie, I don't remember, Roberto, Zach, Sadie, everybody in Movie Club, they're like, oh no, McDonald's fries are like best French fries, like top tier of all like fast food joints.
Okay, wait. On fast food joints, let me think about that for a second.
But
No, of course not.
No, you got Burger King, you got Five Guys. Is that fast food? Kind of. Yeah. You got Burger King, you got Five Guys, you got Smash Burger.
Wendy's?
Yeah, right. Arby's,
Have
Wendy's.
you not had those curly fries, guys?
Yes, exactly.
Dang!
McDonald's are... And it's not even the fact that everything else is so good that makes McDonald's so awful. It's the fact that if they were in a vacuum and that was the only French fries... and those were the only French fries available to me, I would just straight up say I don't like French fries. Because, seriously, they're bad. I just don't like them. They don't taste good. They're way too salty.
I mean, that depends on the McDonald's you go to.
That's true.
Some don't do that. But, I mean, I don't know if I'd say I don't like them, because potatoes are always good to me. Like,
right.
Unless it's potato salad, but that's just me being weird, I guess, because everybody likes potato salad except for me.
Oh, I don't like potato salad either.
Okay, except for us.
I don't like most kinds of those salads. Like I don't like
mayonnaise salads.
Yeah, I don't like tuna salad.
Yeah,
I don't like macaroni, like pasta salad.
Like
I don't
coleslaw.
I don't like coleslaw either.
Yeah.
No,
it's the mayonnaise.
Yeah, the mayonnaise. It's just
like
it's too weird.
Salads.
It tastes too weird to me.
Not a fan.
Yeah,
I know everybody else is, not me. But as far as French fries go, like even if the only French fries I could have was McDonald's, I'd probably still eat them because I like potatoes.
Well, I mean, they're not like... I'm probably over-exaggerating. They're not the most terrible thing in the world, but it's just... Of all the French fries, they're definitely my least favorite.
Yeah, I'd say
like, I just... Yeah, I don't... I didn't real... I thought that was, like, a given. The reason I'm so shocked is I thought that was, like, a circle jerk thing where everybody's, like... everybody's like, oh, wow, McDonald's fries are the worst, dude.
Oh, my God.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't have put it that way, but yeah.
Like, it turns out people actually like them. People say that's, like, the best thing about McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm confused. I didn't realize that was a thing because they're so bad. I don't like them.
I don't either.
Anyway,
that's okay.
Food rant over.
I like Burger King's fries better.
Oh, yeah. Those are good. Those are fine.
Wendy's curly fries.
I'm of the opinion that best fast food fries are Five Guys.
Five Guys are dang good.
Those are really good.
The Cajun or the regular?
Regular, but I haven't had the Cajun.
Ooh.
Are the Cajun even better?
Depends on what you're feeling that day, but typically, yeah, for me.
Fair enough. Okay.
But then again, I'm a spice guy. I like spice.
Yeah. But Five Guys, I just love the way they do fries, dude.
Yeah.
Like seriously, you get a small fry and they like put it in the small cup and they put it in with the burger in the bag and then they just dump fries on everything on the top. Like seriously, a small fry at Five Guys, like the smallest size you can get, is too much fries.
It's true.
It's too many. Every time I get a small, I have to share it with people because it's just too much, dude. The first time I went to Five Guys, I got a regular fry because I didn't know that that's how they did fries, and literally like the whole bag is just filled with fries.
And you're like, oh my God.
I was like, what? You had to like dig through the fries to get your burger.
Oh, yeah.
It's insane, dude. Anyway, so that's our first food segment on this show, which is actually multimedia. It doesn't cover food, so I think we're in dangerous waters here.
I'm willing to risk it.
All right, fair enough.
For that biscuit.
Yeah. So yeah, you want to do catch up for A24?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So The reason we say I say catch up is Josh just watched several A24 movies that he hadn't seen yet in the quest. So you want to talk about them?
Yeah, let's kick it off with was Ginger and Rosa 2?
Rosa 2, yeah.
All right, so I watched Ginger and Rosa. It was bad. I watched.
Do you want to elaborate on that? Because I felt really bad like talking about it negatively on the podcast because from a technical standpoint, and this is going to tie into what we're going to talk about later.
Yeah.
From a technical standpoint, it's fine. In fact, it's pretty good. It's pretty well shot.
Yeah, no, the shots in it are fairly, they're pretty good. It's beautiful. It's capture the first, something interesting.
It's the first A24 movie in our quest that looks visually interesting because Charles Swan III was hot garbage and it did not look good. Ginger and Rosa is like this has an A24 feel to it, like that we're accustomed to.
But now, so that was Dakota Fanning in it, right?
Elle Fanning.
Elle Fanning?
Yeah. Or was it Dakota? Might have been Dakota.
I don't know.
Looking it up.
But she was Ginger, right?
Maybe. I don't even know who either.
I'm pretty sure she was Ginger. But what I run into when I was watching this movie is I was ready to
it was Elle Fanning or Ellie Fanning.
Ellie Fanning? Yeah. Okay. So she was Ginger, and it was all right. She was okay, whatever. But while I'm watching this, I was just waiting for my brain to liquefy and run out of my ear.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's that boring.
It's so boring. And the shots are nice, but I want to say the acting is not up to par.
No, it's not great.
It's not good. There's very few people that gave a good performance in this. Like the dad character, he was okay. He was pretty good.
He was all right.
Neither Ginger nor Rosa are well acted or likable characters.
Not likable at all. Yeah.
Like they're both very annoying, and you can tell that they're not very well acted either.
Yeah, it was boring. Even the last, like you were excited for the last 30 minutes. Yeah. I still didn't care. After sitting through all that much, I didn't care.
The ending's like the best part, but like you have to sit through so much just garbage to get to it.
Yeah.
And
rough.
Even the last part, there's like, even though like the funny thing is I was just laughing to myself. I think this movie broke me. I was watching it because I was like, oh wow, this is getting like really interesting. And like there was a line reading in that scene of like an actress, I won't say who, but it was like so bad. I was like, oh no. Like it's getting ruined by the poor acting again. I don't know if it just wasn't my thing acting wise, but the female friend,
Rosa?
No. The adult female friend, the activist girl.
Yeah.
She was so bad. Was it just me, or was she so bad? I like every time she spoke, I was like, "What are you doing?" Was that character written that way?
I watched it. I just didn't care enough to even make those opinions.
Yeah,
like,
no.
It was.
See, I cared because I was like writing down notes about it. Like that's the first movie I've ever watched. Well, like while I was watching, I was writing down notes about certain things because I was like, I'm not enjoying this, but I want to like know why I'm not enjoying it.
Yeah. It had no grab to it. There was no hook. There was nothing that made me like it.
Right.
So
yeah. It was kind of.
I found no reason. It was kind of
pointless.
Yeah, I found no reason to take notes. I just. Right. If it doesn't grab me, that's step one. If it can't get past that, there's no reason of picking it.
There are certain movies. Say what you will about them,
like, and I'm easy to grab.
Right? Yeah.
Seriously.
No, I'm completely with you on this. I'm the same way. It's like
I was more grabbed by Charles Swan III.
Yeah,
than this movie.
I was thinking about it. Like Charles Swan III. I was engaged because it was so bad
and so bizarre.
It's so weird. Yeah, it was really weird. So I was kind of engaged, I guess. But it was,
it grabbed you.
Yeah,
whether or not it was good, because it wasn't.
Yeah.
But no, this movie there was nothing.
Yeah.
It's like...
No, I'm with you there. I want to enjoy movies. It's not like a movie has to fight to win me over. If a movie... Even if I can tell a movie's like reason for its own existence is really half-hearted, I'll like it if I want to, basically. Yeah. I'll find things to enjoy if I want to. But if a movie does not grab me and does nothing to impress me, I go more on the negative side, in which I'll start picking it apart,
Oh, I don't even do that. I just kind of zone out and vaguely watch it.
Which is why movies like Avengers are fine by me because they don't have to be masterpieces because they're entertaining. They're just cheap fun. But movies like Ginger and Rosa, it's like there's nothing to gain from watching it. So it's like I now need to judge it as an art piece, and as an art piece, it falls short. It's very lacking, you know.
But I gotta say, my favorite parts were, let's see, she was smoking a cigarette, and she flicked it, and I'm like, oh, those embers are kind of pretty, and then that was it.
It's a pretty movie. It's a very pretty movie, I will say. I mean, not the most pretty A24 movie.
No.
There are much better looking A24 movies. For the most part, it's kind of not. It's just kind of boring looking, but there are pretty moments, so I'll give it that. But no, not great. Want to move on to Spring Breakers?
Yes.
Yeah. I can tell you want to talk about Spring Breakers.
I'm actually really excited to talk about Spring Breakers.
Yeah, me too.
So, I didn't know anything about going into this, and then you watched it, and you vaguely talked about it, and you said Selena Gomez and James Franco were in it.
Yeah.
That's all I knew going into this movie. So, I'm going into it, I'm like, Spring Breakers, so it's got to have Spring Break.
Spring Break.
Stop.
Spring Break forever.
Oh no. Okay.
You now know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
It's okay. But okay, so I go into this movie, I'm like, okay, James Franco, Selena Gomez, Spring Break. So it's gonna have partying. So I kick it off, I start it up this morning, and I'm watching it.
Cool.
Having a good time. I'm like, all right, so we get to see all these people. They're having fun, dancing around, drinking alcohol, doing drugs. Great. Then they robbed a place. And this is the first interesting thing that actually happens in the movie.
Right.
Is we discover that these 3 girls out of the 4, not Selena Gomez, robbed what was it, like a fast food joint?
Something like that, yeah. With a lot of customers there.
Yeah.
They walked in with shotguns and they robbed
squirt
the place.
guns.
Squirt guns, that's right.
They walked in, they yelled, screamed, robbed the place, and they got the money to go on spring break. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so this establishes that the main characters are morally bankrupt.
Of course.
And that's a cool idea. They're like,
it is.
Spring break is so important to them that they're robbing a store to go participate.
It's true.
That's cool.
And at first I was
I'm focusing on this because I'm going to call back to it when we talk about Bling Ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, okay, so they robbed this place, but maybe they didn't do all that much. They walked in, they pointed their squirt guns, and they said, give me the money. Yeah. And then the cashier gave them the money. But there's no harm done. Eventually, that business is going to file a claim or whatever. They're going to get their money back, period. Yeah. So it didn't hurt anybody. And you're like, okay. So these girls, they're crazy, they're wild, whatever. They robbed a bank, or they robbed a food place. They got money. They went on spring break. They go on spring break. They're having fun. They're doing stuff. They do drugs, whatever. Then you meet James Franco,
who is a white rapper / drug guy, like drug
dealer,
trafficker,
mob drug lord, whatever. His name is Al, but in the movie they call him Alien.
Alien, yeah.
He's the ugliest looking person I've seen in a long time.
Real quick, what did you think about his performance in that movie? Because I'm very torn myself.
I understand why you're torn. He is doing a very good job in the role he's in.
Exactly.
He plays a very good, stupid white rapper, just dumb human being.
Yeah. Just human trash.
Yes. Essentially, yeah. And he does a very good job portraying that. Whether or not that's good acting, I don't know.
And the fact remains, his character is unintentionally hilarious.
Oh my god!
All the time, like every time he speaks.
But now I don't know if that's because of bad acting or if that's because of that's just what we think of those people.
I don't think it's bad acting. I think the idea behind his character is it's intentionally absurd. Like, he's not human. His name is Alien.
It's true.
He's not a human.
He reminds me of, like, Post Malone.
Yeah, it's like Post Malone if he was, like, a drug lord.
If he was just even worse.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah. It's just bizarre.
It's very...
No shout-outs to Post Malone. I don't know anything about you.
Oh, no, Post Malone's... What I know about Post Malone is his music's not great, but he's a nice guy. And that's all that matters to me.
Okay, well, he wasn't a nice guy in this movie.
No. James Franco is a scumbag in this movie.
Post Malone, you might be fine. Even if you are listening to this.
He's on the H3H3 podcast quite a bit.
Yeah.
He's a pretty cool
I know
guy.
he's a livid listener of our show, so I figured I'd probably say something about it.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, so James Franco did a job in this movie. I can't say if it was good or bad, but it was interesting.
Now, I said that his character is unintentionally funny, and I'm thinking about that now. Do you think it was unintentional, or do you think it was...
I honestly don't know.
I don't know either, and that's what weirds me out. It's like... It feels like he's giving a joke performance. Like, in the movie, it feels like he's trying to make, like, someone laugh on set. It feels
but
like...
I don't think so.
You know, in Saturday Night Live, there's always those sketches where you know that somebody on screen is trying to get someone else to laugh, and it felt like that.
Okay.
Because when he does his spring break...
It's true.
It's like...
It's very true.
It's like, it's so funny. It's like... How could you not find that funny? Like,
I see what you mean. I don't think that's what he was going for.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
It's just like his entire performance was revolving around being that kind of guy.
Yeah, right.
Where he has to kind of be likable, but you obviously hate him.
Yeah,
like
right.
He's not a good guy.
It's like, and it's the funny thing about... I want to get into spoilers, but I'm not going to. I would just say the funny thing about his character is as the movie goes on, you realize he's nothing compared to these girls.
It's true.
Like
yeah.
He's not the real monster here.
Oh my
right?
God! Do you remember that scene where he's on his bed? He's like, "Look at all my shit!
Yeah, right.
Look at all my shit!"
That was the other funny thing. You're just like, "Look at my shit! Look at all my shit!
My nunchucks, my bed, more like a spaceship. Look at my shit!
Look at my guns! Look at all my shit!"
Oh my God!
It was seriously the funniest scene. I was like, "What is he doing?"
Going,
and it goes on for like 2 minutes.
Oh, longer.
He probably said "look at my shit" like 20 times.
Yeah, it just kept going.
Yeah, no. Very good.
Very bizarre.
Yeah.
Just surreal. Well, anyway, not to get too far into it, but eventually these girls, they get too much partying. They go to jail. Mm-hmm. They get taken out of jail because James Franco is like, these girls, they look pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And then he does. And then he starts rubbing up and touching all of them. And then Selena Gomez is like, I don't like this. And so she cries and then she leaves. And that's all you see of Selena Gomez. And she is by far the most likable.
Yeah, because she's the
innocent,
the one that the viewer is supposed to relate to. Because you see all this partying, and you're like, this is insane. Like, this goes beyond.
Oh yeah,
what like teens should do.
Well, and the first sign of her being not okay with it was when they talked about the robbery. The second time was when they went into depth about the robbery in the parking lot.
Yeah. That's also a good scene because
that's a fantastic scene.
Establishes the fact that these girls, not only did they use violence to achieve the means of obtaining the money, they kind of fetishize violence they revel in violence. Like, it's more, you realize it's less about the money, more about the crime itself.
Oh yeah.
And it's good kind of like, it doesn't shove that idea down your throat, but it's like it kind of implies it by their actions. And it's like, it's good writing.
It was very good. I thoroughly enjoyed all those points. Like, they were fantastic. I had a great time watching those and piecing that kind of stuff together. Mm-hmm. Watching Selena Gomez go like, oh my God, who are my friends?
Yeah. Right.
You know, that was a lot of fun. I had a good time. And Selena Gomez was pretty good.
And it comes together in a magnificent way in the ending, let me just say.
Vanessa Hudgenson.
That
was the other girl that you said somebody else that was a Disney star.
Yeah.
Her. She was forgettable, I guess. I didn't really recognize her in it.
I mean, I can't tell the girls apart, really.
That's fine.
But
I couldn't for the most of the movie, actually. The three that were together mostly, not Selena Gomez, like, they were all like two blondes on a like pink hair that kind of looks blonde in a lot of scenes. Yeah. So they all kind of blended together.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, it got very interesting really fast after you hit that part where they explained the robbery to Selena Gomez.
Yes.
After that, it got really interesting throughout the rest of the movie, and I had a good time.
Yeah, I mean, like, when I said this movie is gratuitous, I meant gratuitous. When you're talking about, like, the party scenes in the first act of the movie, it's like, wow, this is, like, so much debauchery, I can't handle it.
I was sitting there the whole time thinking, like, this is the kind of thing me and Colin would probably just, like, get up and leave.
Yeah.
Like, before it even started.
Yeah. No, I was watching. And you did say that... oh, no, you said that about the Bling Ring. But it's the same's true with Spring Breakers. It's the kind of movie that I wouldn't like until it hits that point where you realize it's more than just that.
Definitely.
And it's more of like a social commentary than anything else. And honestly, I really, really like Spring Breakers. Like, it's the first in the A24 Fest where I was like, this is really good.
And that's number 3, right?
Yes.
That isn't bad.
I'm glad that I found this. I'm glad that I watched this.
Yeah, so Spring Breakers, great movie. Go check it out.
Yeah.
We won't spoil anything else for you.
It's super weird. Like, it's not a very normal movie. Even when it gets really interesting, the style is a little too much at times.
Very neon-y.
Yeah, very, very neon, like very like washed out colors, like very
pastels.
Very vibrant really in a not a pleasant to look at way. Yeah. Like it's very rich, very saturated.
Yeah, it was interesting though. I had a good time.
Pretty good movie. It's one of those movies that gets better the more and more you think about it. Like, I'm a few weeks out, and I'm like, I might raise my rating on Letterboxd because it's a pretty good movie.
Now think of me sitting at home. I've watched Charles Swan III already.
Yes.
Like that's I watched a while ago, and I kick off my A24 Fest that I'm doing. Like these movies that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
I kick it off. I know Charles Swan. I kick it off with Bling Ring.
Ooh,
which we'll get to.
That's rough.
I go to Ginger and Rosa.
Yeah.
And then I finish with Spring Breakers.
Right. Okay.
So my first impression of A24 was not good until this morning.
Can we talk about Bling Ring? I don't want to stall. I want to get into Bling Ring.
Okay.
The reason I wanted to talk so much about Spring Breakers is because Bling Ring is Spring Breakers, but done wrong.
Done so bad.
So wrong. So completely wrong. And it's by Sofia Coppola, right?
Okay, directed. So doesn't that movie kick off with the fake interview, like not the fake interview, but the interview of Emma Watson, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, it kicks off with them robbing a house.
Oh yeah, a quick scene of them robbing the house.
And like I said, the premise of Spring Breakers, the premise of the Bling Ring, while different in some respects, is very similar to the premise of Spring Breakers. It's these teens that get in over their head and they start robbing houses in the Hollywood Hills, like houses of celebrities, when they know that they're like at a party or something. They'll go just take stuff from the houses. And this social commentary there is that at a certain point you realize it's not about the material possessions, it's about the rush they get when doing this. It's about the crime, it's not about the payoff.
Oh my god. If you didn't
But this message is done so much more clumsily than it is in Spring Breakers. Like and the acting's really bad. Like very, very bad.
Honestly though,
it was laughable.
If you weren't watching the movie close enough, like you could have missed that point that the movie is trying to make, because like it isn't clear at all. Like they're just like walking around, steal stuff, walking around, steal stuff, walking around, steal stuff, walking around, steal stuff,
very
and then it
repetitive.
ends.
That happens a lot. Like that's the whole movie. It's just a scene of them stealing something, scene of them talking about them stealing something, scene of them stealing something, scene of them talking about them stealing something, scene of them stealing something, spoiler alert, them getting arrested, movie over.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. It's just so repetitive, so mind-numbing.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. Doing drugs.
Doing drugs, right.
And then stealing things.
Yes, and then stealing things. It's so mind-numbing. Like, I literally, for a good portion of the movie, I just wasn't paying attention.
Understandable.
See, with Ginger and Rosa, I was hooked in the sense that I was engaged and I wanted to like know what I didn't like about the movie. This is so boring, so completely, it's such a nothing of a movie. I was like in a different tab the whole time.
Understandably, it was bad. Like the most interesting parts were like when they mixed up that repetitive scheme. So like there was a part where the guy goes and he tries to sell watches. And I'm like, oh, this could be really interesting. And I lean in. And then he sells the watches and he leaves.
There's no consequences to any.
That's it.
To
anything.
I was like, this scene's really tense. He's selling these watches, and like this guy looks kind of skeevy, and it's like, I don't know if this is gonna go south or something. Mm-hmm. And then he sells the watches, and that's it. That's the end of that. That's the end of that story point.
Or
it's like
we're just gonna spoil this movie. Don't watch it.
Just spoil. Yeah.
But there's a car crash.
Yeah.
and the two people that were in the car...
I had forgotten about that car crash because there's no repercussions.
They do a ton of drugs. They get in a car crash. Two of the people in the car crash just aren't in trouble at all. They're just gone.
They're just fine.
And then the person who was driving the car,
literally the next
had
scene,
too much drugs, was sitting in front of the school saying like, "Oh my God, I went to the hospital," and they were like, "You should be dead with how much you're on."
Or she was like, "I went to court and like I was in a court."
Oh yeah, I have to pick up garbage,
and I have to pick up garbage now, and it's like that was just two scenes. Like there was no.
It was so bad.
Yeah. It's almost like they shot the car crash scene and they were like, "Oh wait, actions have consequences," and then they just added a line of dialogue in the next scene.
There was no they glamorized literally everything bad in this movie.
Yeah,
stealing, doing drugs.
Yes. See, here's the thing about this movie: Spring Breakers did the same thing. Like they glamorized it, but then at the end you realize that it's like they glamorize it in a way that it's only glamorized in the universe of the movie. Like ultimately anybody watching this is going to be like, this is awful, you know? Mm-hmm. Okay, and to be fair, Bling Ring is based off of a true story, so this could be why it was like this, but in the Bling Ring, they just get away with it, like, for all the movie, and you realize that if they hadn't gone on that one last heist that got them arrested, where they were, like, picked up by the security cameras...
Yeah.
They would have just gotten away with it because there was no repercussions for their actions, and they were just having a great time. They're just living it up, and if you were a kid watching this, you'd be like, "God, go break into a house. It looks like a great time."
Yeah,
and it's like that's ridiculous. Where this movie differs from Spring Breakers, because Spring Breakers makes you feel gross for watching it. Like the Bling Ring makes you feel like. I mean, they're just having a great time. I don't know.
Yeah, no, seriously, the only enjoyment I found out of it was, like, I finally got to figure out where that gif comes from of Emma Watson going, like...
Oh, yeah, with the tongue dancing. Yeah. I had seen that a lot, too, and I was like, oh, it's from this movie. Okay.
Yeah, that's the only enjoyment
and I didn't... Speaking of Emma Watson, I hated her in this movie.
Oh, she was awful.
I hated every actor. The main love... I want to say love interest, but there was, like, no love involved. There was just, like, a friendship between the guy and the main girl. That girl was... terrible.
Yeah, she was. Now, okay, so as far as acting goes, I want to say that it was because these characters were that bad in general, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I know Emma Watson can act.
Right, of course she can.
She is a good actor.
She's been good in movies.
So now, was she doing a bad job acting, or was it just that kind of character?
Probably just that kind of character.
Because, God, that character's the worst.
Yeah. No, I
hate it.
I hated all the characters.
Like, my God.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
It's everything I hate about teen movies. It's really everything I hate about teen movies.
Oh, my goodness.
Like, I was...
and
so you know bad. What? At a certain point, the thought struck me that, like... that maybe the characters are written intentionally that way. Like, you're supposed to be annoyed by the characters. And I was like, okay, they're doing a good job of annoying me. But then, like, as I was thinking that, somebody was like, "Hey, girl!" And I was like, okay, I don't care if that's the intention. It's way too annoying. I don't like it.
Oh, my God. Or they'd walk in and be like, "What's up, bitches?"
Yeah.
Like, oh, no.
Hey, bitch!
Yeah.
It was... I hated that movie. I really did. I really despised that movie.
Yeah, as soon as I got done watching it, I think I texted you and I said I'm not a fan.
Yeah,
and
I hadn't watched that.
I know.
That point.
I know you
watched it before me. So
and the whole time I wasn't gonna say you were gonna hate it because I didn't want to get that in your head.
Right. Yeah.
So I just said I'm not a fan. But
you know me.
I do know you, so I knew you were gonna. Hate it.
No, I did not have a good time with that.
Oh God, yeah, I watched this. I'm like, this is Colin's nightmare. This if Colin had to watch one movie forever and live in hell, this would be it.
Oh yeah, I'm never watching that movie again. Even if I were to like walk into a room and somebody's watching The Bling Ring, I would leave that room or request them to turn it off because I don't want to experience it again. Honestly, I gave it okay, now I've been talking only about the negative. Here's my thing about it and Charles Swan. Like there's a connection in my mind. They're both This movie is definitely it's except for the fact that the characters are the worst characters I've ever seen. It's competent. Like it is a film. Clearly, there was a vision behind it. And I can see that vision, which is something that's lacking from Charles Swan III. Like, I don't know why that movie was made, and it's so appallingly terrible. This, it's like, I get the point, and it's a biography. Fine. But I hated this more than Charles Swan III, even though I think I rated it 1 star higher than Charles Swan III, just because I was like, if I'm rating it objectively, even despite the fact that the characters were awful, it's not terrible. It's kind of well shot. Like, there's not really any interesting shots, but it's like there's not really any bad shots either. Whereas in Charles Swan, it's just like, what? Who was operating the camera? Did he fall asleep on the job?
Yeah, it was not fun. Don't watch it.
Yeah, no, it's less fun than Charles Swan III.
So far, what I gotta say is if you're gonna watch A24 movies, just stick to Spring Breakers.
Do Spring Breakers, skip the other first 3. Yeah. And then you'll get the Spectacular Now, which I hear is actually very good. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well,
yeah.
We'll have to watch.
And then after that, it's Enemy, which that's written and directed by the guy that did Blade Runner 2049.
I'm really excited. Is that the one? Who's in that?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay. I'm very excited.
In which he plays 2 characters. Like 2 identical characters.
That should be fun.
And the first time I saw it, I didn't like it that much, but I think I've sensed like a lot of people that I love and respect have said that it's like some of this director's best work, and they were explaining why, and I'm like, okay, that sounds very interesting to me, so I need to give this another shot. I'm excited to give it another shot.
All right.
And I've seen the one after that is Under the Skin, and I have seen that, and that is amazing.
I'm really excited for that one.
Under the Skin is fantastic.
You've hyped that one up for me.
So we're going to get good very soon. I apologize for these last 4 movies, except for Spring Breakers.
1, 2, and 4 were rough.
Yeah, right. Cool. So that should do it for this installment of A24 Fest. We're back on track. Next week is the Spectacular Now.
Do we want to talk about a modification to the schedule that you were talking about?
Oh, yeah. Here's an idea I was thinking of, and I've actually changed the idea since I talked to you about it.
Alrighty.
Tell me if you think this is a good idea. We will see the Spectacular Now next week. However, since there's new A24 movies coming out all the time, I was wondering if we wanted to do every other week, instead of just doing the next in the list, one of us picks one from the list.
Okay.
We just pick one. Like, I'll say you first, like after...
So when we watch Enemy, we would watch Enemy and something else in the list.
Right, yes.
Okay.
But that would mean 2 movies a week.
I understand.
So... Or we could just literally do it as Spectacular Now, and then you pick the next movie in the week, and Enemy waits another week. Because technically we'd complete the list at the same rate. It's just we'd be jumping around a little bit.
Yeah. Let's try doing the 2 movies. Because
2 movies?
Because I was able to fit 3 in, and this was the busiest schedule I've had in a while.
Okay, so if you,
let's give it a go.
I'll say, because I have no problem watching 2 movies, because like I watch movies all the time. So I just want to say, if it works for you, that's cool.
We'll give it a go.
So say if you say you text me and you're like, this week we're watching Enemy and Tusk. You can do that if you would like. Or if I say we're watching Under the Skin and Moonlight.
Yeah.
Which I might do. I don't know why I just said that. That ruins the surprise, but I may do that. Yeah, like, how do you like that idea?
I like it. We may get a little confused, so we might want to start keeping an actual list of the ones we have watched.
Yes.
Just to make sure that we don't do any double reviews on them.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, let's do it.
So we've decided we're going to do that, but if you're watching this now, let me know what you think of that idea.
Send us an email, because none of you have. Hey!
It's been a while since
multimediaclubcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, send us an email.
Send me an email. I'm sitting over here sad. I checked my email just now. Nothing.
Nice.
I still saw Colin's letter saying, "You ugly." Like, that's it. That's all I got.
I think it was like... I forget what it was said. I think it was like, "You suck," or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my standard troll message, and I'm not a troll very often. I'm a pretty nice guy, but I just started a new Minecraft server with actually Abe, who was in last episode of the podcast. Me, him, and somebody else we know. and I went into his house. I went into the basement. I dug out, like, it was like wood and stone. I dug out one wood block, and then I dug out another block behind that and put a sign that says "You suck." And then I replaced the block I dug out with dirt so that you'd see something's amiss. And it's a perfect trap. Yes.
Colin.
Anyway, that's my little Minecraft. Oh, by the way, you can be on that server if you want.
Oh, great. Cool. Can't wait to get a letter saying I suck.
Yep.
Again, send me an email.
Yes.
Please just send me an email. I don't care what it's about. Send me an email.
Yeah.
That's all you need to do. It's easy. You open up Gmail, you type, you hit send. After typing multimediaclubcast@gmail.com into the send to section.
Yeah. Anyway, you know what movie I want to talk about? I've been itching to talk about.
Yeah, no, Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah,
I heard you had
right.
more experience.
I haven't seen it yet again, but I'd like to say it's still bad.
Yeah, me
but
too.
But the movie that I would like to talk about, because we saw it 2 weeks ago, was The Shape of Water.
The Shape of Water.
Or as you've put down here, The Shape of Waters. Shape of Waters. Like the shape of
Roger
Roger
Waters. Oh, I did put an S on there, didn't I? Oops.
I think we even briefly mentioned it in the Vinyl Cast, but if you didn't watch the Vinyl Cast, you didn't miss much.
No, you didn't. That's okay.
Except for us listening to a full album at the end. Anywho.
Which we still need digital copies of, Becca.
Yes, absolutely. I don't even know how. No, she doesn't. No, none of our friends watch this. Of course they don't.
Why would they? They don't like us.
Yeah. Shape of Water was amazing.
First, you have to understand Guillermo del Toro.
Yes.
He's a guy that likes fairy books with adult realism, and if you don't like that, you won't like this.
Right. As Fashion put it, it's dark fantasy. And initially, I was like, it's not dark fantasy, because in my head, I thought dark fantasy is like Dark Souls, but then I thought about it, it's like, it's dark fantasy, it's fantasy that's dark.
Yeah.
So, technically, it is dark fantasy.
Yeah.
So, and it's not that dark. I will say it's actually pretty whimsical in some parts.
So
it's also very disturbing.
Saying it's not that dark, I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I think it's very dark. I think it's more of this black and white situation where it just switches really fast.
Flip-flops, and that's the Guillermo thing.
It is.
Like, he does that.
So, like, at 1 second, you'll be watching her dancing around with a fish man. You're like, oh, this is kind of nice. And then in the next second, somebody is missing fingers.
Pulling their fingers off.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's very black and white in that sense.
Yes.
Let's kick it off with first impressions. I love this movie. No, I walked out of there going, oh my god, this was amazing. I'm buying this on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
It was so good.
No, it's seriously, it's great. I think it's my favorite Guillermo del Toro movie.
Yeah.
Like, by a long shot.
I loved it. I plan on going. When I buy this movie, I'm going to buy every other movie he's made. I don't care.
Yes, no.
Like, this movie convinced me to buy his entire discography. Or
it's
filmography?
Filmography.
Yeah.
It's
whole thing.
Magical. It's brutal. It has a very great message and a great story.
Yeah.
Which is also
fantastic.
Ties into the thing I want to talk about.
It's a romance. Like, it's totally a romance
Full
film.
on romance, fairy tale type thing, but
it's
with
so good.
Extreme violence and graphic nudity.
You got your prince and your princess, except this time the princess is saving the prince when the prince is actually a fish man and not a frog.
Yeah.
They have sex.
Yeah.
Which is actually explained, which if it hadn't been, there would have been big questions on everybody's minds.
It's true. Yeah.
The fish man looks amazing.
These
my
creature
god.
effects are incredible.
That should have won Makeup of the Year.
Well, it still could at the Oscars.
Oh.
Yeah.
It should.
Yes.
Because it was that good. What's the dude's name?
The
no, the other guy.
Oh, I'm gonna.
I always forget.
I know
his
what you're
name.
talking about because he's an actor that I had never heard of. I had never seen him in anything, but he pulled such an amazing performance.
Well, Zod.
Oh, you're talking about Michael Shannon.
Michael Shannon.
I was talking about The Roommate, but no.
Yeah, no.
Zod.
The Roommate too is.
I'm gonna look up The Roommate.
Michael Shannon though, phenomenal in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
He plays American family man dad by day, and then this terrifying man at night.
Well, no, but the terrifying nature like slips through his facade in the day too.
Well,
which is
around his family.
Well, yeah, like when he's talking to his wife. Okay. Minor spoilers here. When he's making love to his wife,
I suppose.
He. Oh no, I'm not even gonna get into this because this is definitely
that's a
spoiler.
Good scene.
Yeah,
that's a really good scene
because it has a lot of like subtle connotations to it. You know,
he
what
also
I'm talking
has
about?
sex in this movie.
Oh yeah,
that's a good scene. Not because of the sex,
because of the dialogue and the connotations to it.
It's
and you think
phenomenal.
about it. Look, okay, I want to say this is Michael Shannon. He's a really hit or miss actor to me.
Oh, this was hit.
I liked him. I actually liked him in Man of Steel. I mean, he wasn't a great character, but I was like, he is intimidating, but he's like human. Well, ironically enough, because he's not human in that movie.
I didn't like him in Man of Steel because I didn't remember him in Man of Steel.
I liked him. I just liked him as an actor. I was like, this guy's got a good voice. He's got like a good face.
Okay, but if you were going on face, the best actor in that whole movie was friggin'
Henry Cavill.
No.
Oh,
his dad.
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe's also an incredibly hit or miss actor.
I think I can't say that. I haven't watched enough Russell Crowe to
He's
say
got
I
a
like
great
him.
face and a great voice.
He does.
He sounds good.
I really liked him in God, what's it? Perfect Dicks.
What?
The movie, the subline is Perfect Dicks.
What? Yes. With Ryan Gosling. The Nice Guys.
Nice Guys. I love that movie.
No, that's a great movie.
It is so good.
Like, that's one of my favorites of that year.
Hi,
Sam. Sam's just leapt upon the table.
Okay.
Get off.
Sam's quiet. Sam will be quiet.
Okay. We'll just keep him here then. Oh, he's purring now.
I shouldn't have touched you. But yeah, no. Russell Crowe, at least the movies I've seen him in, I like him.
Yeah.
And I've seen him in two movies.
Yeah. I really like... Sam is trying his all to ruin this.
Don't pat my chest.
Oh, yeah. Sam is definitely a shoulder cat. I don't know if you've noticed. He likes getting on people's shoulders. I don't know what I was looking for here. Yeah, Russell Crowe, very...
The guy...
roommate. The Shape of Water.
Well, not guy. Roommate, I guess, but
like the main character, we haven't even talked about the main character. We've been talking about the villain, but I want to keep talking about the villain before we move on because Michael Shannon in this movie, he did this thing that I very rarely see in villains. Most villains I see in like big movies, it's like they're evil because I'm told they're evil. I don't like get a strong reaction from them. Like Hela from Thor Ragnarok, I was like, she looks cool.
She's evil,
but it's like she's evil because they tell us she's evil. It's like,
yeah.
I don't feel fear when she's on screen. But with Michael Shannon, every time he's on screen, every time he's doing something, my skin crawled.
Yeah.
Because he's such a disturbing character. And it's subtle disturbing because he acts normal, but as you realize there's a sort of insanity below the surface, and
he's got this real intense face.
Yes, and it's extremely unsettling. Like seriously, I was just uncomfortable whenever he was around.
Like I mean, this kind of beckons back to Killing of a Sacred Deer, where just his mannerisms are just a little off.
Yes,
with he has candy. All the time,
and it's an interesting
that he
characteristic.
Clicks on his teeth,
and it's just unnerving. It's it's weird. It's just the sound of somebody chewing on hard candy. It's just like a grating sound.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, and that's a very purposeful choice because that's such a grating sound. It's like nails on a chalkboard to me. When I hear someone crunching on hard candy, I like cringe a little bit. I don't know about you.
No, I get it.
It's super worked on me because I was like, it's just such. Everything's so unnerving about this guy. He's an amazing villain, but he's not even I mean, he's probably my favorite character in the movie, but like he's not even the only like person who gave such an incredible performance. Sam, stop it.
Sam's reaching out to you.
He's reaching for me.
Reaching out, touching you.
The girl who played Eliza did a great job. Eliza being the deaf girl.
Yeah, she was really
she did
good.
a good job. And she's not deaf. Not deaf. Sorry, mute. She cannot speak, but she can hear.
It's so bizarre. I don't know a whole lot to say about her because her lines.
She has no lines.
There was
right.
She sang a song.
She sang a song, but she has no real lines.
Yeah, there's no lines for her character, so I can't say her dialogue and the way she delivers lines were great. But her
mannerisms, yes.
her facial expressions,
right, exactly.
Everything she did throughout the movie, like when she's sad, she's sad. She's shaking.
And right.
Everything she can to show emotion through anything but her voice.
Yeah, it's all body language, and that's very impressive, and I definitely commend her for it.
Yeah.
There's a scene where she's getting very emotional. She's on the verge of tears, and she's like pleading with her roommate about something, and the entire scene is... It's such an interesting scene because she's giving this emotional monologue, but all the dialogue's delivered by him because she's signing to him, and he's saying what she's signing.
Yeah.
Like, the subtitles get dropped in that scene, and I think that's a very intentional choice.
Oh, yeah.
The idea that she's giving an emotional monologue, but it's emotional despite the fact somebody else is performing the dialogue. And he's getting emotional, too, as she's saying it, and it's a fantastic scene.
Yeah.
It's an acting powerhouse, both of them in that scene. Like, seriously, if that's not, like, the scene they show... when this inevitably gets like a Best Picture nomination or something, then they chose the wrong scene, I think.
I mean, that's really hard to say because there's
a lot of good scenes
throughout. Yeah. Like every actor was phenomenal in this. I didn't hate any of them.
Oh yeah, everybody did a good job.
What's her face from The Help?
Octavia Spencer.
Is that her name?
Yes, Octavia Spencer, the sassy black lady and everything.
Yeah, she was fantastic.
I was worried about her because she usually annoys me more than.
Okay.
I know people that they're like, oh, she's great and everything, but like every time I see her, maybe it's because I hated Hidden Figures. So was she in Hidden Figures?
Yes, I haven't seen it though.
And maybe it's because of the fact that I hated that movie so much, and she played a very similar character. Well, not similar. Sam, could you not? And I saw The Shack, and that movie was...
I haven't seen that one either.
It annoyed me, and she annoyed me in it.
Fair enough.
So, like, I've never been a huge fan of hers, but she was very good in this movie, because she's the... This movie, what I said about this movie in Discord when I first saw it was this is quality filmmaking, because... whenever I see a movie and I get the sense that it's like, I know what they're going for, but they could have done it better, then I take points off. And I know that sounds like a really pretentious thing to say.
No, that's totally understandable.
Because, like, but in this movie, I was like, I get the sense that these filmmakers are much smarter and much better at what they do than I could ever be,
or anybody else that's doing it popularly out in the public right now.
Everything they said, when I thought into it, I was like, that's clever, and there's more layers to that than I can decipher right now. And I was like, that's good. That's very good filmmaking,
and that makes it so much better for rewatchability.
Exactly, yeah, because I feel like this. I have only seen it once, and I'm going to see it again.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. I might even see it in the theater again because I loved it so much. Seriously, I feel like I'll catch new things every time I watch it. It's one of those movies where you feel like you need to watch it more than once to truly experience it. But the thing about Octavia Spencer's character that was so amazing is that, like, you never get told what the nature of their relationship is. Like, it never is explained to you, but you get it by watching them, the two. Yeah, right. You get what they're all about just through writing and body language and scenarios. Like, you understand that Octavia Spencer likes talking. She likes talking a lot. And the main character...
showing you instead of telling you.
The main character is sort of a means of therapy to her, sort of, because she can just vent on this main character, and this main character likes to listen to people talk. So, like, they're a good match, and you know this, but it's never said.
Yeah.
Like, if there was a scene in which this scene where Octavia Spencer's like explaining the relationship between her and Eliza. In that scene, I was actually hoping, I was like, she had better not explain that. I was like, she had better not say, I like talking and she likes hearing me talk. Like, I was like, this is the scene where they can ruin that, where they can just make it obvious. But they didn't. She didn't say that. She actually didn't give any more information than he asked for. And it was all still left up to interpretation. So they did that well, you know.
Yeah. I mean, even with the relationship between the main character and her
roommate.
What's the guy's name?
His name's Giles, and
Giles?
the actor's name is, hold on, let me get off of Octavia Spencer's page.
So it's not
the actor's name is Richard Jenkins, and I want to make that clear because Richard Jenkins gave such an incredible performance in this movie.
I mean,
I'm
probably
serious.
seen him in things.
Yeah,
he's the dad in
he's
Step Brothers. He's been in a lot of things, but
Yeah.
nothing's been like monstrously huge.
The whole time when I was watching him, I was like, "This is such a likable guy."
Yeah,
And it's like I didn't feel like I was watching an actor give a performance. I was like, this is a real person, and I really felt for him, and I was really hoping that he didn't die or something, you know. And I'm not going to say if he did or not, but I'm just saying, I was like, I don't want this guy to die. I want this guy to be very. I love this guy, you know, like he's such a cool guy,
very likable from step
Yeah.
one. Like, but the relationship between him and the main character were fantastic. They're just neighbors.
Yeah.
But then as soon as they start interacting, you're like, oh, maybe they like each other in more of a way. But then no, it doesn't.
The fact that minor spoilers, but I'll say it because it's like you'll get it when you watch the movie. You'll get what I'm saying. He isn't straight. He is gay. Mm-hmm. But that's never said. That's never
Ever.
explicitly said. You just understand it by his interactions with it. And I'm not saying he acts like flamboyantly, like stereotypically gay. Not really. He's a somewhat effeminate man, but he's very like he could be straight. Like it's not like they're trying to write an overtly gay character.
But you could have gotten like just. There's nothing in this movie that says he is or is not, but I mean, you could have made assumptions.
He could be bisexual.
Way.
I mean, like, I'm not saying like because like you could say that he has a thing for Eliza, but it's not. It doesn't really seem that way to me.
No.
Like it seems like it's just a friendship type thing, you know. And he's very happy for her when she finds the fish man.
Oh boy!
You know, there's a scene later on where it's like the fact that he's gay is indirectly hinted at pretty strongly, but like they never explicitly mention it. And if you're the like say a kid who doesn't like really understand like homosexuality yet, you wouldn't know that there's something off about him, you know.
First of all, you shouldn't watch this movie.
No kids should watch this movie.
Period.
This is a fairy tale, but it's an extremely adult one, more so than Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So yeah,
it's very good. I loved it through and through.
Yeah.
Name one thing about it is good.
If there's anything that I can criticize about it is even though the story was pretty well executed, there were a couple logic things that didn't really sit right with me.
I disagree, but okay.
There were scenes where like it's like the more I talk about this, the more I want to stay vague. There are the motivations in certain scenes behind Michael Shannon's character's actions were it felt a little like because plot he does this. You know, do you kind of know what I mean?
I need to know a specific spot.
Okay, I could talk to you about this off.
It's true.
Podcast,
It's true.
But like, basically, there and then I was thinking about this, and I was like, there kind of is a logical explanation for it. But as I thought about it, I was like, I didn't get that. It felt very because plot, and then they wrote in an explanation. Like, you know what I mean?
I understand.
So,
but yeah, I'd have to review.
So there were a couple moments like that, but it was overwhelmingly this film was extremely well written and well thought out. That's not even really a criticism.
The world building in this movie.
Oh yeah, no,
it's so good.
It was super good.
Oh,
another thing I will say about this movie is, the world itself felt kind of small. There are maybe like 4 or 5 locations in it.
To me, it felt really big. I don't know what it was. Those 4 or 5 locations. Because sure, though they didn't show a whole lot in the movie, but
it felt like they had like 4 or 5 sets. But basically,
the way I see it is those 4 or 5 sets were so well done. It felt like it connected to this way bigger world for me, at least. Like I don't know what it was. I could be totally wrong here. Everyone else might be like, it felt small. Whatever. I don't care. It felt huge to me. I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome.
That's a completely valid opinion. And I did, even though I'm saying looking back on it, there weren't many locations in the movie, which isn't a bad thing, to be fair.
It's not
there
bad.
are plenty of movies like 12 Angry Men that take place in one location, like one set the whole time, where it's like, that's just Sam walking around, where it's like, it's still great because of that even. So it's the fact that it's a small... The fact that there's not a lot of dynamic locations did not harm the movie, and I'm not saying that's a negative. I'm just saying I noticed it after the fact, but I didn't notice it during the movie because I was so engrossed in the world.
Yeah.
And it's impressive that they did that with so few locations, like we were talking about. So, yeah, no. Very, very good movie. That's like, honestly, I'm thinking of like my top movies of the year. That's very close to the top. For me, it's probably second.
What's
like
your first?
First is Killing of a Sacred Deer, but you have to understand. I loved that movie on a spiritual level.
I know. I still can't bring myself to say I like it as a movie.
Yeah, no, it's that's
like I like everything about it. I like how it was made. I like the acting. I like everything. Just the content.
Yeah.
Just makes me not enjoy myself.
But see, for me, that's a positive. Like,
I understand.
Like the way I look at movies, if
I know.
a movie can
that
have
was the
a
goal.
Yes.
That was the goal of the movie.
Like, think about it.
But because of that being the goal, I can't say that I liked the movie. Because that's the point. So I don't know.
Okay.
I'm stuck.
I completely see where you're coming from. For me, I mean, you may have noticed I respond to negative feedback. Like the reason, like I'm so obsessed with Michael Shannon's character in The Shape of Water because he's such a despicable, unlikable character, and I love that. Mm-hmm. So that kind of is a view into my psyche about what I like about movies, and the fact that The Killing of a Sacred Deer made me, like I said, it made me physically shake. By the end of it, I was like unwell. By the end of it, I was like, I felt sick to my stomach. I felt like depressed. I was anxious, and I was like, this is incredible. This is one of the best movies I've seen in a long time.
I agree.
Yeah.
But the content just...
Right, yeah.
When it purposely makes somebody feel like... I understand. When a movie makes me feel like that, I don't like it. When a movie purposely makes me feel like that, I don't know what to think.
Right. Okay. I get you. I completely get you. I think this is a case of my bias. Like how I react to movies.
You're right. It is the best movie I have seen
this year
doing what it's supposed to do.
Yes. I would agree.
But as a personal preference... I don't want to feel that way.
So you say objectively it's the best, but it's definitely not a thing you could even say you liked. I see where you're coming from there.
I would say
like, right. No, it's that, yeah. Like, I didn't intend to go off on a tangent about this movie.
See, the thing is I may go out and buy that movie, not to watch it, but to just support the people that made it.
Oh, yeah, Yorgos Lanthimos. When we're doing A24 Fest, we're going to see The Lobster, another movie by him. Yeah. So... we'll see. That's a comedy. So
with Colin Firth.
It's a comedy that also makes you feel gross and anxious and depressed, but it is a comedy. It actually has humor in it, which is something that Killing of a Sacred Deer didn't really. So, yeah.
It was rough, man. That movie was rough.
I did notice you said Colin Firth, by the way. I'm not going to respond.
I know.
With Colin Powell in it.
Yeah, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Killing of a Sacred Deer. I'm not really looking forward to seeing that again, but at the same time, I'm really looking forward to seeing that again.
It's the kind of movie like Mother, where it'd be kind of fun to analyze.
Yeah.
I love it when movies feel like they can be analyzed, and there's stuff that you'll find if you look deeper into it.
Okay.
Some movies feel very surface level. Like, you can't analyze, like, The Avengers, because everything is very surface level.
I have an entire conversation about this.
Okay.
Lined up, actually.
Do you want to do it? I had a topic for this episode, but honestly, how long have we gone?
Like an hour and a half?
Yeah, honestly, like, that topic will take, like, half an episode. So
it's true.
If you want to talk about it, go ahead.
Okay, I won't go too far, but my entire thing about being able to analyze movies... Is it a good thing? Sometimes. My reason being is you have to be able to take a movie at surface value. Because if you can't, it's not going to be easily accessible to the general populace.
Exactly. Look at Upstream Color. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay. It's a movie that when you watch it, you're like, I don't know what I just watched. Like,
Okay.
I if you asked me to describe the plot, I couldn't.
Or
because
Mother.
there was not. Yes, Mother's kind of...
Mother is not a surface value movie
Right.
at all.
At first, we were like, what
We
was
walked
that?
out being like, this is terrible. This was boring, and then
was
just
like-
a night, like a trip.
It was
crazy.
really boring, really pointless, and then it just turns into this insane LSD fever dream. And I was like, this is really weird. I don't know if I liked it. But then, upon discussion, we realized it's kind of a masterpiece, and it's definitely a very great movie. I see what you mean.
Now, the thing is you have to have this surface value, otherwise the movie isn't going to be well received.
Right, exactly.
And
like hence what happened with Mother. When people came
Exactly.
in, they were like, this is going to be the next Insidious. This is going to be a crazy horror movie.
Yeah.
And they got Mother.
when you can take a movie and you can watch it without digging into it at all and enjoy it, that's good. That means you were entertained.
Right.
It doesn't mean it's a masterpiece necessarily, but it means if you had a good time, it means it was good.
Yeah.
Period. Now, if you can dig into it and find something more that makes you like it even more, that's better to me.
Okay, yeah.
Now, the reason I have problems
So-
when it comes to being able to delve into things like this is most people don't.
Yeah.
So any masterpiece, any movie out there like Mother that gets made is automatically going to be shot down by everyone I talk to, except for people who enjoy movies like you.
Right. Mother is a movie for film enthusiasts. It's not a
Yeah.
movie for general audiences. I'm sorry if I sound pretentious saying that, but it's absolutely true. I will
true.
stand by that.
The thing I keep going back to is my parents.
Yeah.
I got home, I told my parents, I watched Mother. And they're like, oh, how was that? I kind of wanted to see that. And I said, you're going to hate it. You're going to hate it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they looked at me and they're like, oh, really? It looked kind of good. I'm like, I know what you guys like. I know what you guys don't like. They don't like looking into things. They don't like things that are artistic.
Yes.
So they would hate this.
Right.
Just utterly hate it. When there is nothing at surface value, there's no reason for anybody to go see it off the bat.
Yeah.
Now, if you're willing to look through that and see what is actually there being presented to you in a more metaphorical sense, then Mother is by far the perfect thing you should go out and see.
Absolutely.
Like, it just is.
Yeah, the fact that I loved Mother comes with a big fat disclaimer, as do a lot of the movies I like. I find that just yesterday, somebody in the Discord, Movie Club Discord, just came out and he was like, I want to see a movie. Any suggestions? And I suggested to him Under the Skin, because I was thinking of A24 at the time. And he was like, oh, cool, I'll go check it out. And then I was like, bearing in mind that it's very slow, very surreal, very artsy. And I didn't get a response from him. Like, maybe he just killed himself, but who knows?
Oh, boy.
Maybe he just watched it and he's like, this is it for me. But
And, I mean, once again, everything we say here comes with personal preference, so it can change
Yeah.
by the person. But if a movie doesn't have a surface value, it's not going to be liked by the majority of people.
I completely agree with that.
If the movie doesn't have a surface value and something underneath, it's not... I mixed that up. If it does have a surface value but nothing underneath, it is going to be not necessarily liked by the majority, but it's definitely going to get more of a resounding yes.
Take the Avengers movies.
Like the Avengers
Because
movies.
there's nothing below surface level with a lot of
It's
those.
action fun.
Yes.
You may have a good time. There's nothing more that you need to know about the movie.
All right, yeah.
But let's talk about what's a movie that you can think of that has a great surface value and something great underneath.
There Will Be Blood.
There Will Be Blood.
There Will Be Blood's a very... If one... Okay, look.
I'm pointing at you because
I'm
I
pointing
don't
at
agree
you.
with this statement.
Okay, it could be just my bias, but the thing with There Will Be Blood is it's an outwardly interesting period piece with a very frenetic and entertaining performance from the main character. So, and I know, okay, I can think of a better example.
Please do. Because that one, surface value, once again, I don't think hits home.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World. It's not a super art piece, but it has enough to entertain the casual viewer, and when you look into it, you realize it's a very well-executed film. It's not an art piece, but it's kind of closer to what you're thinking about, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. But are you thinking of like an art piece that's like accessible?
Yeah, let's talk about art pieces that are accessible.
There's Moonlight.
I've heard Black Swan is that way.
I have never seen Black Swan.
But I haven't either, so I can't say anything to that.
What's a good example? There's a lot of A24 that's like that. Like Moonlight. Moonlight's about an urban study about like a gangster guy.
Okay.
And a lot of general audiences are like, cool. It's like Straight Outta Compton. And then they watch it. And now that I think about it, it's not a good example because that's actually not what Moonlight is.
Oh, good.
Maybe Straight Outta Compton's a good example because I hear Straight Outta Compton is a good movie, but it's like it's about rappers. You know,
I
people like rappers. They like movies about rappers. So
these movies are hard to come by. Let's put it that way.
Right. Yes.
When you can find something that has that surface value that is generally accepted by the populace that people like, and then you can rewatch it.
You're talking about a movie where if you had two people going to it, one who likes the Transformers movies and one who likes movies like Mother. You're talking about a movie that coming out of it, that person who likes the Transformers movies, they're like, it's a fun movie. It's a good, fun movie. And the person that likes movies like Mother, that person then goes, let me tell you why it's a good movie. You know what I mean? Like, it has that surface fun, but there's like more to it than that.
Definitely.
Okay, yeah, no, I
those are the kinds of movies that are great.
Yes,
in my opinion, I think those are the movies.
Fargo.
I haven't seen it.
Stuff by the Coen brothers, like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And
I haven't seen it.
Fargo. Have you seen any Coen brothers movies?
I don't think
really.
So.
You need to. The Big Lebowski.
I've seen The Big Lebowski.
Okay, The Big Lebowski is a good example.
That is a great example.
Because it's fun and it's a good movie. It's a well-made movie, I think.
But at the same point, that one also gets generally rejected for being too weird.
Right. That's a very surreal movie.
It is.
Yeah.
So that's where you run into problems with the surface level.
Yeah.
But there's this back and forth between the surface level and what's going on underneath that makes it interesting.
Right.
Between the two. Now, if you have a movie...
I think The Shape of Water is kind of a decent example. Because The Shape of Water is a fairy tale. Yeah.
That's a great example.
It's a dark fairy tale. And people are like, oh, that's so cool. And the thing with Shape of Water is what you see in the trailers is what you get in the movie. So, like, the general public, they see a weird fairy tale about a fish man. And they're like, that looks interesting. And they see it, and it's fun. But, like, it's also a great... But then again, I don't know if I'd call it a solid art piece, that movie. It does, no, it's a, see, here's the thing, like, what makes an art piece, in my opinion, is something that has, like, this very nuanced and complicated message, which is a thing that I think I've recently said that doesn't matter that much to me, and I'm amending my statement, and I'm saying, it does, but it's, like, it's not, like, the most important thing to me, but that's, like, what separates a film, like, and I guess... Shape of Water does have a complex and nuanced message, so maybe I'm wrong. So, I mean, it's like kind of breaks down what is love, what is humanity, Mm-hmm. It's kind of a tired message, but it's done very well.
It's been done, but this is by far the best showing I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's done very well in this case.
This is it's a classic, done, overdone, redone, redux message that's been said since the beginning of media.
Yes.
Like, it just has. There's been plays about this back in the 15th century, whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that this wasn't good.
Yeah, no,
and it wasn't a good message. Because it was. It was very good. I think it was very well done. I think it was... And then the way it was done, we've gone over it, was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And it only helped.
That ties into the... It's so hard not to get into this. You know what? Let's get into this topic. I don't care if this episode's longer. The topic I wanted to talk about today. Because we come so close to getting into it, but I keep restraining myself. I'm not going to hold back this time. All right? So, The thing I wanted to discuss. Oh wait, do we have anything else to talk about?
No, we're good.
No, okay, we're good. The thing I wanted to discuss.
Oh wait, no.
Oh, I already talked about Nebraska.
No, other one.
I saw Rashomon. No. Hold on. What's it called? Hold on. Rashomon.
Rashomon?
It's by Akira Kurosawa. It was very inventive and interesting for its time, but it wasn't very entertaining to me. I liked it, but I'm not gonna go away and I'm not gonna be like, oh, I love that movie. Everybody needs to see it. I liked it. It was fine. I didn't have a strong reaction to it. That's basically it. It's about a bandit and a murder. I will say the storytelling in it's very good because it's it's like that Tarantino-esque multiple storylines happening at different rates thing, and it's the oldest example of that I've ever seen. It's pretty inventive for its time, and it's all about a murder, but it's talked about by different viewpoints, and every viewpoint you see of the murder changes the context of it.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It is cool. It's a cool concept. It's a pretty well executed movie, but it's just not very accessible. And so yeah, decent movie. Go check it out if you like Kurosawa movies. Kurosawa. I'm done. Kurosawa movies. Anyway, the topic I wanted to cover this episode, and I'm gonna get into it. Maybe it's gonna die immediately. Maybe we'll get into a long discussion about it. I don't know. We have more time than usual this episode, so it might be a long one. Okay, there are two. Well, there's more than two, but there's two major schools of thought behind what makes a good movie. There is, it was technically well produced. The shots were very good. The editing, the sound mixing, the visuals, the special effects were all great. Or there's the school of thought that says what makes a movie good is the storytelling and the messages and the the point behind it. So what is more important between those two? Which is a deep conversation to have if you're a film lover.
Honestly, I think there's more than that.
This is a simplified point. There's more to it than that. Yeah.
But let's delve into a little bit. What is more first? I mean, you could base your liking of a movie just off of characters. You could base your liking off a movie just because. You could be one of those people. You could like it because of the colors. You could like it because of literally anything.
Oh, right. No.
But if we're narrowing it down to story and the content of the movie, and between that and the world building, the visuals. Basically
what this boils down to is storytelling versus technical talent.
Okay.
As well, and storytelling is a form of is a talent, of course. But what I'm talking about is our visuals, are interesting visuals, and a well produced movie. Is that what makes a movie? Is that more so what makes a movie great than storytelling? And most people would say no, which is why I wanted to talk about this.
Okay.
Because that is important, and I feel like that gets swept under the rug a lot.
They are both very important.
Yes.
Starting the conversation there.
Yeah.
They're both very important. If you didn't have one, it obviously wouldn't work.
Yes.
But
see that's the thing. This whole thing kind of came into my mind when I was talking about Disaster Artist. What I always said about Disaster Artist was that it's an ugly movie. It's not particularly pretty. The sound mixing was kind of bad because they did this thing where they recreated scenes from The Room, but they didn't do the bad dubbing, which is half of the joke, and they just didn't do that. And so from a technical aspect, the movie is very incompetent in a lot of regards, but people don't care about that. People care about, oh, Tommy Wiseau is really funny, which is a valid point. So that's why I wanted to bring up this conversation where it's I get that to most people, technical elements of a film aren't as important. But should they be, should they be more important is the question. Like, is there like something that people just aren't appreciating about the medium there?
Yes, I would say yes.
Yeah.
Because when it comes down to it, people don't care.
Right, yeah.
As far as, let's generalize them as surface level watchers, like my parents, they don't care.
Yeah, no, I can see that. And it is, like we were talking about, kind of a divide between like casual moviegoers and people that just love film.
It's true. Like, if a movie just does not look good, a lot of people look past that, saying like, well, I'm still having fun. There was explosions, there was guns, and there was things I enjoyed.
Yeah.
But it didn't look good.
I'd take Deadpool. Deadpool is kind of, aesthetically, it was pretty ugly. I mean,
I had a good time with it.
But I had a good time with Deadpool, too.
Like, some of the shots were really cool. Obviously, the shots that were the coolest were probably
freeway,
CGI.
And the freeway fight was pretty cool.
Yeah, stuff like that. Interesting camera angles, like following the bullet. Like, it's been done before, but it's fun.
Yeah.
And it comes down to being good visually as a movie is important.
Right.
As long as it doesn't hold the movie back.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to most people.
Right. But now let's look at the opposite of a movie like... what's it like? What's a really fun movie? Transformers. Like, people like the explosions. Like, from a cinematography standpoint, they're so abrasive to the eyes. Like, they look so ugly. The colors are so bad. The aspect ratio changes like every second. It's so ugly. But people love the explosions, and they love the action, and they love the humor, Mm-hmm. But let's take the opposite example. There's, and this is another movie that kind of like sparked this debate in my mind. That's been like a big thing that I've been thinking about, like introspectively about what I enjoy about movies. The Neon Demon. You want to jump in first before I go in?
I do.
Okay.
One, I can't talk about the Neon Demon because I don't know.
Okay, fair enough.
But as far as shots go in a movie, this is a perfect example of what would make moviegoers, like people who like movies and watch movies, like you, would have issues with going to see a movie for fun. When you watch Deadpool for fun.
Right.
But
and
when
I watch a lot of movies for fun.
That's true.
Like, I'm going to go see Jumanji. I don't expect it to be an amazing movie. I just want to have fun.
But this is the opposite of when people who don't watch movies a lot go and see a movie like Mother. This is the opposite of that. Like, you go and you see Deadpool and you have fun. When you go and see Transformers, you don't have problems necessarily with the story. Even if it is garbage, doesn't matter. Right. You have problems with the technical aspects across the board.
The technical aspects, yes. The technical aspects, because the film was edited and shot by like an ape.
Or Ghost in the Shell.
Yes, this is a good example because Ghost in the Shell, the technical aspects just buried the movie for me.
Yeah.
Like, it was so offensive to me. I any merit the movie potentially had, it was just gone for me.
Yeah,
and that is what people feel like when they go to see Mother. So it's interesting to understand both sides. Yeah. Except they're doing the opposite way. They're like, I don't care if this movie, like, technically... Oh, Mother was shot very well. The cinematography is extremely good. Like, it's, I was like, wow, I'm loving this camera movement. But it's like most people, they don't care.
They don't care.
Yeah.
And the shots in Mother were all fantastic. Like, it was beautifully done, but while we're sitting there, we didn't like it until we talked about it more.
Exactly.
But yeah, so that's kind of where you look at it and you're like, wow, so movies are that subjective that depending on what you want, what your values are, when you walk into a movie, your opinions of it could be completely different from anybody else's.
Yes.
And this goes for everything, video games, movies, music, everything. Mm-hmm. It's all about your personal values as a human. Like, what do you want to get out of it? Mm-hmm. And you want good visuals. You want talent in what's being shown to you.
Yes.
Sure, you want a good story. You want to be entertained.
I was gonna say, like, Yeah, if I may interject,
Go ahead.
there's the reason I brought up Neon Demon is Neon Demon from a visual standpoint is incredible. It's one of the best looking movies I've ever seen. The visuals are so great. The aesthetic is so great. The music is amazing. But there's not much more to it than the aesthetic of the movie. It's all about visuals. It's all about like this overall atmosphere and feeling. And atmosphere is another big one for me. Atmosphere. If movie has a good atmosphere, I really love it. I really dig it. But Neon Demon, it's like the characters are paper thin. It didn't have much of a story. And let's also talk about Dunkirk. Dunkirk is the same way to me. Dunkirk, from a technical standpoint, is a knockout. It is one of the most technically impressive movies I've seen this year. Probably the most. Kind of tied with Blade Runner 2049, because from a technical aspect, both of those movies are very, very well done. But Dunkirk is incredible.
Well, now this will be interesting.
Yeah.
Because if we're talking... Okay, let's talk about strictly Dunkirk and Blade Runner 2049.
Yes, because...
Let's line these up.
Yes, I know what you're going to get into, but go for it, yeah.
I liked Blade Runner 2049. It was fantastic. I loved it. I watched Dunkirk. I was not a big fan.
Right, yeah, and I know that.
It was very pretty.
Yes.
It was well shot. It was well
There
made.
were
like
camera shots from inside of Spitfires, and I was like, oh, that's very nice.
But it just, as a movie, it didn't grab me.
Yeah.
It didn't give me anything that I was like, oh boy, this is my new favorite movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know we walked out of there, and you and Robert were gushing.
Yes.
Just gushing
Yes.
from the brim. Just
I believe the word masterpiece got thrown out around a lot.
a lot.
I sense retract the word masterpiece because I understand Dunkirk's. Here's where this debate gets interesting, because it's kind of a surface level movie. The surface being the fact that it's a technical spectacle. You know.
Yeah.
It's not fun. It's not a very fun movie.
No.
It's a war drama, but it's a technical marvel.
It is.
So surface level affects even film snobs like myself, you know?
Yeah, it affects you so much
Yeah.
that you're blindly throwing on the term masterpiece.
Right, yeah.
Such as these people who are watching Transformers and calling this, oh, it was so good.
Yeah.
In the
Right.
same aspect.
It's true.
But on the different side of the coin.
You know, it's like we're not too different, you and I. I say you and I to do the movie line,
Yeah.
but I mean you, me, and somebody else. I don't know.
My dad throwing around TMNT.
Ooh, yeah. You know what movie I hated? TMNT.
I know.
I saw in the theater and I hated it.
I know. But
Yeah.
but it's interesting when it comes down to that. It's very interesting.
Oh, right. Yeah, this is a great conversation, which is why I was thinking it's going to take a lot longer than Charlie's sleeping under the table. So if you hear a weird noise, that's Charlie.
Oh.
No, gosh, I had a train of thought. Is there anything you wanted to... Oh, yeah, Blade Runner versus Dunkirk.
Yeah.
Now we see Blade Runner, which is also a technical knockout, but Blade Runner had more to it than Dunkirk.
Yeah.
The Blade Runner had a great story, great acting, great characters, a great world. Like, the world felt immense.
And the visuals in it
Mind-blowing. Yeah.
equal to Dunkirk, in my opinion.
Yes, actually, in a very different...
in a very different way.
sense, because Dunkirk is mostly practical. That's why I loved about Dunkirk. It's like you see these armies of people, and you're like, that's not CGI. And you see these planes just like going down in the sea, and you're like, this is not CGI. This is very practically done. And that's what made it amazing. Dunkirk or Blade Runner has some cool sets, and it has some pretty cool practical action, but
a lot of the visuals.
the amazing visuals came with the CGI, and there's
Which
some
was
CGI.
out of this world.
There's some CGI effects that are revolutionary.
Yeah.
Like, seriously,
So good.
that is the best looking CGI movie I've ever seen.
By far. And just the way that the visuals were done, in my opinion...
Oh, God. And this could go into a whole thing of, like, CGI versus practical. Let's not go there now.
Okay. Okay, you want to know my opinion on CGI versus practical?
Right, yeah.
I enjoy practical because typically it looks better.
Yes, it does.
Notice how I said typically. Blade Runner 2049 has been one of the biggest instances where I watched a movie and I'm like, that's CGI. That's how CGI should be done.
Exactly. And the CGI didn't feel particularly fake. It felt very real in the context of the universe.
Yes. Now think about it this way. When synths came out,
right.
When they first existed, they're like, the guitar is no longer even useful. Everything's going to be synths. Everything's going to be this
and
electronic
there's some people that
sound.
hated that.
Of course.
Yeah.
But after time, synths fell into their own section and they found their place within the musical world. I think that's the exact same way CGI is.
And here's the and on the flip side, what I'm going to say, what a lot of directors do wrong about CGI is they build the movie off CGI. Like here's the thing, like Michael Bay makes a movie and he's like, it's going to have a lot of CGI, it's going to be great. And he uses the CGI as a tool to he used the story as a tool to showcase CGI rather than how CGI should be, using CGI as a tool to tell the story. Mm-hmm. Which is what Blade Runner 2049 is. Like when Denis Villeneuve, and the writing team, I'm sure he didn't just write the movie himself. When they sat down to make Blade Runner 2049, they were not like, oh, this is going to be a showcase of all the cool new CGI. They're like, this is going to be. They talked about the story, and they talked about and this also ties into our technical versus story. Like they talked about how it's going to be as a film, not about how it's going to be a showcase of CGI, I'm sure. Because the CGI didn't feel forced. It felt very, it served the story.
Yeah, if you want to talk about showcasing CGI, I mean, we could talk about Avatar.
All right, yeah.
Which is
why I'm not a huge...
CGI.
I'm not really big on Avatar.
When you watch Avatar, I didn't enjoy Avatar all that much. It was very long, very boring.
Me neither.
But as a technical aspect, the CGI in it was amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty revolutionary. It was.
But that doesn't make a good movie.
Right, exactly. Because here's the thing about Avatar. It was revolutionary for the time. But that's an awful way to get your movie to age well.
Yeah.
A movie like Dunkirk is going to age phenomenally because they'll look back on it 100 years in the future. They'll be like, that was done practically. That's very great. It's hard to see a movie like even Blade Runner 2049 aging poorly because the effects were so phenomenal. It's going to age better than a movie like Avatar. Because even Avatar, and even now, it looks pretty cheesy. Mm-hmm. But, even still, I think that the practices used in the CGI in Blade Runner 2049 are going to be outdated. Because that's the nature of CGI. At some point, it's just going to be an outdated movie. And this also goes for all art mediums. Look at a game like BioShock. The fact that they went all cartoony with the art style means that it still looks good today. They didn't try to make everybody look photorealistic, which you have to. It's and a movie like Dunkirk, they didn't go all CGI heavy. They just went all practical, which is practical will never age poorly in my opinion. Because it's all real.
As far as Blade Runner 2049 goes, aging well, I think it is. It
probably will age pretty well.
It holds this line in this very far out future that to us feels very future-esque. Mm. But I think what's going to happen is it's going to feel a lot like Blade Runner feels to me right now. Mm. People are going to watch that in the future, and they're going to be like, wow, that feels like a very outdated way of viewing the future, but the movie still looks fantastic.
Yes, Blade Runner is, the original Blade Runner is, ironically enough, it's very practical. Yeah. There's a lot of cool practical sets, a lot of cool practical costumes, the makeup and costume effects are crazy in that movie. Yeah. The world building's insane.
I think the CGI is going to fall under the idea that the movie's ideals and ideas in the movie feel old, not that the movie looks old.
I suppose, yeah. But I'm just saying, for something like this, it's, it's hard to see into the future for these things.
Of
because
course.
Blade Runner 2049 is one of the best-looking movies on the market right now, if not the best, as far as CGI goes. But in 20 years, who knows? I mean, people said that about Avatar. People said that about Tron when it came out first. Have you seen the first Tron?
No.
It looks terrible.
I've seen screenshots.
It does look completely awful. I was actually watching a video on it recently. I was like, my God, I didn't remember how completely god awful this movie looked. And it's like, and you look at Tron Legacy, where the special effects are really good in Tron Legacy, and it's all CGI. Like, there's physical characters, but there's not a lot of physical sets. Like, it's mostly CGI, and it looks great. But it's not going to in 20, 30 years. It's going to look like Tron does now. You know, it's like CGI just doesn't age well, which is why... which is part of the reason why people love practical, because practical ages well. Like a movie like The Thing, like the John Carpenter The Thing, it still looks great. The practical effects look great.
I'm watching that soon. Yeah. By the way, so we're gonna have a conversation about that.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to watch it. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, practical effects. That movie's like 30 or more years old.
It's 80.
Like
was in the 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's like over 30 years old, and it looks great. The practical effects are so incredible.
I'm really excited to watch that.
Yeah. No.
But what was I gonna say? Oh no! Oh, CGI aging.
Yeah.
My thing with CGI aging is I think that movies that showcase CGI aren't gonna look good.
Like Transformers.
Transformers.
I was going to say
Avatar,
Transformers going to look bad in the future, but it already looks bad. I mean, the CGI Transformers is not. It's not good. Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is that movies that have CGI in them as just another thing, that they treat CGI as another tool to make the movie better. I don't think the CGI is going to look worse in those. And
I will say the effects in Blade Runner 2049 are so great because they're very subtle. Mm-hmm. There's not there's not a single entirely CGI character in the movie, which is the thing that always bugs me when you have something like Colossus in Deadpool. It's like they even like made a joke about it, like in the credits of Deadpool, how like it was like all joke credits, and it's like featuring a CGI character.
Yep.
Something that always, and The Hobbit's a good example. There were fully CGI characters in The Hobbit, and that was really awful. But I don't believe there's a single fully CGI character in Blade Runner. The CGI was a little accent to the world, a little extra flavor. It was not. There's that scene with the giant naked girl.
Yeah, that's the one I always think of too, and I think.
But it's CGI. It's like. That was a real person, just kind of dolled up with CGI. It's like, so in a sense, it felt a little more real because of that. If it was like a CGI person, it would have looked really weird.
Let's bring it back to The Shape of Water.
Right.
You have this fish monster that is obviously a man in a suit.
Yes,
it just is. Like it wasn't CGI, but
there's CGI
flares,
yes,
that help the movie,
and it comes off better off for it.
Oh,
because
way
the
better.
CGI definitely improved the creature effects, because you get a man with a suit, you can't get the little like movements of the gills, you know.
Yeah,
but they use CGI to improve it, which is great.
And that's how CGI, I believe, should be
used. That's a perfect use of CGI.
Yeah, and I don't think that CGI is going to age poorly at all.
I'd be hard-pressed to disagree with you. I think that is going to be some good, with long-lasting CGI, because it's based in something practical.
Yeah.
When you see Transformers, it's not based on something practical.
Not at all.
Mark Wahlberg is looking at nothing. Like when he's when he's interacting with a Transformer, maybe he's looking at like a tennis ball on a stick.
I'm sure somebody's like, over here, and so he has to look in one direction. But
it's like he's reacting to something that's not there. Mm-hmm. In The Shape of Water, the character's reacting to a man in a fish suit. So it feels better. It's good.
It does. Yeah. There's a lot of very real moments, and they're being helped a lot. I think a lot with CGI.
Yes, exactly.
And that's where CGI, I think, is going to find its place within film. Is adding these accented flares, adding things that obviously can't be done in practical effects.
Definitely. No, I'm completely with you on that. Like, CGI is not a bad thing in concept.
Not at all.
If used correctly, it's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
Like in Blade Runner 2049, I'm in awe of the effects in that movie, and it's all because of CGI. Mm-hmm. There's also some pretty okay practical effects in it too, but it's like for the most part the impressive thing about it is the CGI.
And the visuals in that movie.
But the thing is, you get movies like The Avengers and you get movies like Transformers, and people love these CGI explosion fests
in 20 or 30 years, what do you think those are going to look like?
They're going to look awful.
Yeah.
Even something like Doctor Strange. I mean, Doctor Strange has better effects than most, but the effects are good because they're fun and inventive. They're not good because they look particularly amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to age very well.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
I know that.
Yeah, no, I just... Yeah, you're completely right about that. If people can understand that CGI is a tool to help along a movie rather than something a movie should be built off of, then yeah, it can definitely... I'm completely fine with that. In fact, it's great. It's a great thing to do.
It is. It's a fantastic thing to have.
Yeah.
I mean, relating it back to the music analogy, synths are fantastic in their place. There's no point or time that they should replace an entire band. They shouldn't replace guitars, bass, and drums. But when put with them and they have their own style, their own flavor, their own place, it can work wonders.
Yeah, definitely. It's it's just technology as a whole. I mean, well, I guess not. Like, there's certain things that technology's taken over and we're probably better for it, but, when it comes to visual medium and audio mediums, it should be used sparingly. Like, there's what makes something very impactful is how grounded it is, in my opinion. Which is odd because I really like surrealist movies like House, but very very interesting conversation to have, and honestly, we could go on for like another hour about this. I think because seriously, yeah. I'm glad that it kind of went the direction of CGI versus practical, because that's very tied into what I was talking about.
Yeah,
with the,
I mean, it does make a difference.
Yeah. But yeah, no, to bring it back to our original point, I think the technical aspect, and we've just been talking about technical this whole time. Like, when we're talking about CGI versus practical, we're talking about effects. We're not talking about stories here. Mm-hmm. And I think people... Just in my opinion, I think it's fine that people like stories more than they like technical effects and technical talent, because that's easier to digest. Like that's easy. That goes down easier. But like the thing about, I think there's, and it comes to the fact that like when you're thinking about just how movies are made, there's so much work put into the visuals and the technicality of a movie. Mm-hmm. So serious, and I think it deserves a little more recognition. That's just all I'm saying. Like, and to bring it back to it, I should probably give my view. Story and like a message are important to me, but the thing that truly makes me love a movie is if it has good technical ability, talent behind it. Like, if it looks good, if it sounds good. And then there are movies like There Will Be Blood, where it's like the more important thing about There Will Be Blood is the story, is the acting and the writing. Mm-hmm. But it's very good too. Yeah.
For me, well, it comes back to what I said before. As long as the technical aspect of the visuals is not holding the story back, it's fine. If it does, then there's a problem.
Okay.
But I believe that the visuals, the technical aspect behind them can amplify a movie's potential to have a more impactful effect. Mm-hmm. That it makes it better. It is very important, but step one is getting that story down for me.
Okay, so that's... See, like, as a budding, like, wannabe filmmaker, the visuals are always the first step for me. Whenever I, like, conceive a movie, it's always the visuals for me. So that's just the kind of person I am. Mm-hmm. Like, I believe visual storytelling is a very good tool.
Yes,
like
it is.
I to convey emotion and feeling through visuals is like a thing that I really want to utilize if I eventually start making like amateur movies, which I definitely want to do. So and it's like when I think of a movie, usually the first thing I think about is like, how are the shots, how is the editing, how is the sound mixing, it's like, and then once I decide if I like the movie on that front, then I think about like how's the story, how is the writing.
Now, we've been talking about these two things. See, this is where we run into the problems, is because there's always more to talk about.
Exactly, yeah. It's not very black and white here.
Not at all.
And there are some movies that just don't look very good that I still love regardless, you know?
Now, we've been talking about these two things, and we've been talking about them very separately. When, in reality, it doesn't have to be like
There's
that.
a lot of, like, bleeding over between the two.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Story told through images...
Right.
is a great thing. It's told through the sound, told through everything,
and
told through the acting,
the shape. Yeah, right, exactly.
Throughout the movie,
the shape of the water, like we were talking about, a lot of the story is not told through traditional means. A lot of it's implied by other things, like acting, like camera
Going
work.
even further than that, we can push this to Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Right. Yeah.
Everything designed in that movie was pushed and made to make you feel.
Yes.
The acting.
That's another big one. A coherent story versus how a movie feels. Because, you know what? Killing of a Sacred Deer, does it have a coherent story? Not really. I mean, it has a set sequence of events, but does it have, like, a solid point? Not really. But here's the thing. This is actually a specific conversation I was having with somebody. And what I didn't say, because I kind of realized it after the fact, it's like sometimes a movie's point is the fact that it's so pointless. Like sometimes the idea behind a movie is that it's like, like Fargo. Like, is it like Fargo even, I know you haven't seen Fargo, but I'm just saying Fargo even has this point where it's like, all of this over some money, it's like, and the character even says like, I just don't get it, and it's like, that's the whole point of Fargo. It's like, it's so, people get in such a frenzy, and it's just like the extent that people are trying to go to. And I guess the point is that it's so pointless. And I think that's maybe not exactly what Killing of a Sacred Deer is going for. But the thing is, like, I just don't see message as a very important thing to film.
The way I see it is when it was being made, the idea is we want to get reactions out of people.
Right,
we want to make them feel this way.
In a sense, the point of the movie wasn't anything story related.
Of course. The idea wasn't to get, the story across. Yeah. The idea was to get a feeling across.
Exactly.
And what they did is they used the story, which is upsetting in its own right, having to decide who in your family to kill. That's upsetting. Using the visuals, which were all made to be upsetting, the acting to be upsetting, the music to be upsetting, everything accumulated together to get across a feeling. Instead of being opposed or separate, they work together. And I think that's what needs to be done more in movies to make better movies.
It's just, it's like, it sounds basic what you're saying, in the sense that, like, you're saying that movies will become better if they have more focus to them.
It's
true. Like, which is obvious in a sense, but it's like more people need to do that.
But when you talk about focus in a movie, people aren't going to assume that you mean, people need to have more grounded stories. No, people need to have more movies working with each other in the movie. Sound design, music, the visuals, everything needs to be able to work together towards a goal. Otherwise, you're just going to keep making the same old movies.
Right, yeah.
And that's an issue a lot of modern movies have.
And it's just, here's the thing with, I really, when we're talking about focus, I appreciate when a director sets out to make a movie and he does not compromise on that. Like, like Yorgos Lanthimos' goal in Killing of a Sacred Deer was, like you said, to upset the audience. That's the whole point of the movie. It's all about that feeling of unease, and everything in the movie serves that point. It's an excellently executed movie because it had a point and it never strayed from that point. What people may not like about it is the fact that it doesn't fit the bill for what you traditionally consider a well-rounded movie, because it's not really well-rounded in the sense that it doesn't have a love plot. It doesn't have, like, a lot of things people traditionally like
It
in
doesn't
movies.
hold the values of what
Right.
the general populace
Exactly.
want.
It doesn't have those values that people like seeing in movies. It's a very distressing movie, especially in a moral sense. It's very morally gray, morally black even. It's very
Yeah.
it's very, very disturbing. But that's the point. That's the whole point. He set out to make a movie that's like, this is an experiment more than like a standard movie. It's like, I'm gonna see how uncomfortable I can make the audience, because this is, and he did an excellent job. And unlike someone like Tarantino, which I'm not hating on Tarantino, of course, I love Tarantino, but he did it in a different way. When Tarantino's like, I'm going to make people uncomfortable, he does it in the most graphic, gruesome way possible. But there's like not really any gore in Killing of a Sacred Deer. There's barely any violence. There's some near the end,
And
but
that's what I'm talking about. When you can use
right.
those effects, things that aren't just the obvious, the visual mediums, like, I want to make people feel bad.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you don't have to kill a dog to make people feel bad.
Right, yeah.
You can use the combination of music and this storytelling to make people feel bad. Instead of just, oh, let's kill a dog.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many different ways to go about things, and directors don't take these ideas and make something new out of them a lot of the times. And so when Killing of a Secret Deer came out, it definitely was a game changer in my head. Yeah. Like just this amalgamation of everything coming together to push this idea of feeling instead of things fighting against each other.
Right.
Because that's what's happening in
If
movies
Killing
a lot
of a Sacred Deer was like it was now, but it had a bunch of like forced things that movies are like supposed, quote unquote, to have, like in the to make it more appealing to the mainstream audience, it would not have been as good, because it would have been more conflicted. Sacred Deer is a very lean, mean. It's a very focused movie. It's a very tight. It's a very tight movie. Tight. Shout out to Roddy.
Yeah. Shout out to Nice.
Jeez, what just happened? Hold on. I just want to make sure there's not an issue. I don't know what just happened. Oh. Anyway, well let's continue. Hold on, I'm gonna stop this real quick, and then we may or may not come back. Hold on, okay. Pause now. Okay, we're back. Yep. There was a technical difficulty. It looked like we had lost this entire 2-hour podcast, and I'm very glad that's not the case. So, I guess like I said, that's just a sign that we've gone on for a long time on this.
Hold up, the mic isn't recording.
You're right. Hey everyone, we're back again. I had unplugged the mic to check the media and forgot to plug it back in. So now we're recording with the Blue Yeti. And this all comes down to I like movies. Okay, and now there's somebody outside. Okay, and Charlie's barking. This is not going well.
Anyway, this has been the end of Multimedia Club cast.
Yeah, as a podcast, we're just done now. Is there like someone outside?
I'll go check.
I'm not cutting. This is good stuff. Behind the scenes.
No.
Oh, that's weird. Charlie, come here. Oh, who's a good boy? Hey.
It's okay.
You okay? You're
okay.
all right. You're all right, buddy. Yeah. Charlie's very easily frightened. I think there's like a car driving by outside, and
It's okay.
it scared him. Okay. So now that this extremely focused and great discussion has come to a train wreck of a halt, I think it's about time to end. If I have any like subsequent thoughts that I didn't get across, I think I'll like just send it to Discord or something, because like, this was a good discussion. I really liked this.
In the end, it comes down to all personal preference. As usual.
Exactly.
Everyone has their own values of what they want in movies. So everyone else is going to have their own opinions, their own whatever they want. to find in movies is going to be what they are going to want to find. And
Yes.
that's what they're going to generally gravitate towards.
Yeah. So, I completely agree with that. And it's like movies, there are certain things that are objective about movies, I believe. Like, there are certain things that are completely, you can be right about it, you can be wrong about it, in my opinion. But as a whole, what you like about a movie is subjective, and that's all that really matters. Like, if you liked a movie, that's valid. Like, I can't tell you that if you liked Transformers that you were wrong, because clearly you weren't. If you liked it, you liked it, you know? There are things that I believe are objectively wrong about movies like Transformers and a lot of these movies, but like when it comes down to the end, when it comes to the end of the day, if you liked it, you liked it, and you know, I that's completely fine.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, clearly they make enough money that you know they've sustained themselves. So yeah.
And movies are always cool, so
definitely
keep watching.
I just like movies in general. It doesn't matter how good they are to me. So, well, that about wraps it up. I'm gonna call it before Charlie throws another temper tantrum. What?
You know what we forgot?
What?
We forgot to do our Doki Doki Literature Club
All right.
section.
Here, you know what we should do about that?
What should we do about that?
We should just record that when we're done here, and then like that's just a separate video.
Okay. We can do that.
Okay. We're gonna do a Doki Doki video.
For you.
For you, microphone.
Oh. Who left that? Was it
Alejandro.
Alejandro. Was he the one that sent us an email?
About what? About the Doki Doki? I think it was him.
Okay.
Because
shout out to you.
Yep.
But yeah, so we're going to be definitely doing a bit on that.
Sounds good.
Shortly.
And
send us emails.
Yeah.
That's my closing words.
Yeah, basically.
Send me emails.
Let us know what you think of our discussion today, because I really want to hear other points of view on this.
You know, seriously, any comments, questions, anything. I want them all. Give them to me.
I have an announcement about this episode. It is officially the longest Multimedia Clubcast episode at 2 hours.
Don't do that ever again.
At 2 hours, 20 minutes. So, I guess now is as good a time to end as any. I'll see you around. Thank you for watching if you made it this far. I really appreciate everybody who watches this and talks about it.
See, now,
I haven't promoted it yet, and I will once I get like a good banner and a good profile picture, because I don't know if you've noticed, but I've rebranded my personal channel Multimedia Club, because that's like the main point of it now. Mm-hmm. So
what's interesting though is that we have people that go through all the effort to listening through all of these and then commenting on them via Discord and talking about it.
Yeah.
But they don't send us emails.
Yeah, you know,
that's where I feel the love,
I feel like we need to get a few more emails. Is what I'm thinking.
Me too.
Yeah. Well,
but seriously though, emails, they're a great way of getting your questions answered, getting anything you want to talk about discussed more on this. So I mean, it really is by far the most helpful thing. And that one that we got about the music, I had a fantastic time that week just listening to new music I hadn't heard. Please.
Seriously, my main thing is if you guys have like music suggestions, definitely send them
music,
over.
Movies, video games, anything, books. I'll read books for this, all right?
All right.
Seriously though.
But yeah, no, I just want to say it may be sappy, but thank you guys for supporting us here
and listening.
Listening.
2 hours and 20 minutes. That's a long time.
Definitely. And
you could have watched like almost 2 movies.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so yeah, that's it. Cue the outro music now.